today. So if it's sounding robotic or weird or something's wrong, do let me know. Hope everyone is doing well. We are continuing as Armenia today. Probably going to do this for 2 or 3 hours, and then we're going to continue the grand campaign. Be warned, I may be very tired. I got 3 hours of sleep. Not even for, well, I guess it was a good reason. I stayed up really late reading. I have a very good book right now. And you know when you read like too late and you know it's too late, but you can't stop reading, and then it's like 5 a.m. and you're like, well, I probably should go to bed, but I've read for so long anyway, I might as well keep going. I did that till like 10 a.m. So I don't have much sleep. Be warned if I'm very tired. Start off with that. We left off last time as Armenia in a very tough position. There's been a lot of that in this campaign so far, where we have followed King Vram, who is yet to die at 69 years of age. He has lived a very interesting and very long life at this point. We began when he was 23 years old, meaning he has ruled for, bear with me here, I'm not a STEM major, 57 years. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Think of the Prime Frost, appreciate that, man. What is up? We managed in the early days to succeed in 2 wars, both of which were declared in quick succession, with the what was it? The Orientis, who invaded us, as well as our neighbors to the north, which we have long since incorporated. We are the 3rd and final historical dynasty of Armenia when it was an independent kingdom, as the Arsacids. Our cousins in Albania have been conquered by the Iranians after they fell around, I think, 2 years ago. Iran is now a republic, much like Rome in the West. We're in the Eastern Roman Empire. They continue to rule now with finally a very good leader, something we kind of need to hope that they do not have for very long. Last session, the Huns reached their full power when Attila came of age and ravaged Western Rome, as well as a lot of Northern Europe, with his great empire, before we managed to slay him through assassination and save much of remains of the Roman world. King Vram has had much tragedy in his life, losing both his wives to assassinations, the first to his brother, the second to his chancellor, who was a serial killer, also slaying his heir and firstborn son, though we do still have many children remaining. We are an incredibly learned man. As you can see, we've learned 5 languages in our life, most of the known world. And all the great rulers around us, we can speak their language. We've conquered a fair bit as well, expanding to the north and showing the Duke there our power before taking some land as well from the Moayids, who is now an emirate. I'm not sure how. We are in a fairly good position now, independent, but in our final days, we are attempting to secure the inheritance for our grandson, the living heir of our son who was slain. A capable man, but well, there's only so much you can do to pave the way for inheritance, I suppose. So that is the current state of our game. We are going to be continuing in just a moment. What's up, What's up, Green? What's up, Scythe? What's up, IMC? What's up, Reaper? How's everyone doing? Yeah, our current king is 69. He's been ruling since he was 23, so for over, let's see, 40 years at least. What's up, Charles? What's the book I was reading? Oh, grab it real quick, actually. A couple that I've been reading nonstop lately. I'm going through, I went for like 3 or 4 this week, actually. Kind of crazy. The Splendid Exchange, How Trade Shaped the World. It's very, very good. I don't know if y'all can see that. Very, very interesting book. Just kind of talks about the historically how, I mean, obviously in the early days of Mesopotamia, trade expanded, how it kind of evolved, obviously, in the triangle trade, globalized trade. I'm in a really good bit where it's talking about, like, you know, the rivalries between the Dutch East India Company and the British India Company, how coffee and other goods kind of came about, and we're just so dramatic in transforming the world economy. And I got to the bit cotton and I couldn't stop reading. So anyway, that's what I was doing last night. Did I miss anyone else? What's up, Zepter? I think that is about everyone. Yeah, it's a very good book, very interesting. I didn't realize how the part that really got me that I was reading last night was I didn't realize how quickly many of the goods and how many of the goods we now take for granted is just so normal and So in many ways, unvaluable, were just so precipitous in leading to the wealth of many European nations and beyond, and how the cultivation, especially of like coffee, which originated in Ethiopia and was a monopoly by Yemen for a while, just dramatically expanded a lot of times due to just, companies and the rivalries, especially in, England, the Netherlands and Portugal and stuff like that. Super interesting. And in cotton too, I didn't realize how that blew me away. I mean, I'd always known that cotton was obviously not a very common good historically due to the difficulty of manufacturing. But what blew me away was just like how little it was actually used and how it was a wealth symbol in Europe for a very long time. And a lot of the struggles it went through to really get widespread adaptation, especially in Britain stuff. Super interesting how valuable it was, how quickly it spread, all those sorts of things. Anyway, very interesting book. Learning lifestyle only gives a buff to war learning if you have rank 4 learning education. He's only 3. Really? I didn't know that, Reaper. I thought it was based on your education or learning score as a whole, or was that CK2? Might have been a little bit different. Give it a prime tall. What's up, man? Give it a 14 months. Appreciate that, man. I'm making edgy little Dark Age edit for the Taurus campaign. Are you really? I thought about doing that a couple times and never did. That's cool. Alrighty, let's get going. So as I said, our grandson is about to come of age. Vog, our Shakuni, is 12. We currently have him being taught by Ishkan Venatizi, who is a very capable swordsman. We've given our grandson a military education due to the fact that we've done our best to cultivate an era of peace, but given the centralized nature of Iran and they're bordering us on all sides now, alongside Rome, I think King Vram, despite not being a very warlike man, has learned in his lifetime that sometimes, many times even, a strong warrior is what is needed to keep a state strong. The Bennett cartel has been terrorizing Vesperaken. For a while now, my forces stationed there have had trouble countering them effectively. Recently, one of the guard captains there was even assassinated by a spy working for these criminals. It was meant to be a major blow to my troops given this captain's charisma, diligence, good relations to the local community. Yet this had the opposite effect than the bandits had intended. The assassinated commander, beloved by many, has become a martyr. Thus my troops and other local commoners, spurred on my bloodlust to avenge the captain, redoubled their efforts to crush the bandit gang. Scores of bandits have been killed in the past few weeks, including many of their leaders, and their influence has greatly reduced, perhaps permanently. There were even rumors that the spirit of the commander assisted them from the afterlife. Well, that's worked out surprisingly well. We'll build him a monument. We have the gold for it, and it'd be good to build a lot of resistance there to them in the future. We do have finally some pretty good income too. We're making 6 monthly. Can ask the Patriarch for gold, which we absolutely will do. We also did complete that temple recently in Devine, our capital, to commemorate a return to our faith after the demonic serial killings that occurred in the capital only several years past. The past few days, neighboring Duke Shabazz has been visiting my court on his way to some holy site or something. Since his arrival, he has been outshining me with his generosity towards my courtiers, who have all been lapping up his gold with no dignity. I can't help but scoff when I see him surrounded by adoring courtiers for the umpteenth time. My courtiers. Reports for you, good Abbas. And some coins for you also, kind Vespasian. And for you, sweet Vog. Yeah, it's a grandson. Sweet honey cakes, it is. Remember, riches are meant to be shared. We're not a jealous man. I think we'd be very confident in what we are at this point. We'll try and take advantage of his generosity. Yeah, we did. He gave gold to us as well. Well, that's fun. It's both. There's a flat buff and based on stats. Okay, I got you. Oh, I did not know that. I probably should take a look into it more carefully. With CK3, I've actually kind of made it in. We could do this in a second. I made an effort to actually try and not learn as many features as I used to. When I finish my Victoria 3 tutorials, my Hoi 4 tutorials, which will be in a couple months, I am doing a CK3 tutorial series, so I'll do it then, but I've kind of done it on purpose because I don't like to know how to min-max these things. Sometimes it's very tough not to use that information to your advantage. And when you're doing roleplay, I think getting a degree of separation is always useful. Mr. King will go down as the one who killed the Huns. No, he won't, Charles. You got to remember, no one knows what we did. Well, one person did. one of our vassals, but it's never become public knowledge, so no one knows it was actually us who killed Attila the Great. It's completely unknown. All right, we've been called to war by our allies, or now our son. Is he attacking someone? I bet he is. No defending. Countess Venushi of Kartli, the Northern Duchy, has declared war on our son. We will absolutely join him in March. We gave titles to our second and third son in the north, and in order to kind of preserve the future of the dynasty and give our grandson allies, or at least that's how King Vram thinks that will go. And it appears that our son Dikrana is being attacked by the Northern Duchy. This Northern Duchy was originally conquered from those who invaded us in the first part of the game. They've always been very problematic. There's a bit of almost a curse with disloyal and problematic vassals there, I'd say. More and more wide-eyed servants seek me out, claiming to have seen my departed wife, Queen Theophano, walking the halls. That's her second wife who was murdered. She could find no rest, my lord. That is why she stalks the place of her demise. We'll look into it. Very. What's the word? Given our life and what we've experienced, we would believe in such things. Also, thank you for the follow, score delay. Said that right. Give Dikon the Normers when you conquer them. He is on the border. We wanted to give strong leaders bordering territories, which we've done. Fortunately, one of them is a little too strong, perhaps. We'll march over the pass in Hayek and seek to take out their army here and end this war. We won't take her lands for this, but we will try and end things. Music. There we go. Oh god. He was a wonderful harlot. Ishkan says with a hearty laugh. Never paid for a better woman keeping company at night. Nice, man. I'm having a small piece with some courtiers, and a lusty man is recalling an encounter at a brothel he went to a while back. She said she learned 100 different techniques in the art of love, and it was worth every coin I had to not only have her demonstrate every one of those techniques to me, but explain them to me as well. Who knew intimacy could be such a philosophical art? You always know someone's compensating when they do this shit. It's so funny. Some of my courtiers listen attentively, fascinated. Others look irritated and offended at the remarks, yet many just try to awkwardly avoid eye contact with him as explains these supposed 100 techniques. We'll try and move on. Let them keep that information. The carpenters of Venant have won fame and acclaim from elsewhere in the region. They are said to be particularly skilled in their craft, and some even travel from afar to study their techniques and methods. We will get the army here. Hopefully just end this war in one swift blow. Their army is defeated. Let's go after the other one, their allies. It'll be in mountains, but that's fine. We have overwhelming odds here and a good commander. We'll take the siege of the rebellious vassal, or not rebellious, I should say, the one fighting this war against our son, and then we should be able to end things here. You want a swift, quick ending to this war. This is not the time. Be laying the countryside to waste with these petty wars. My message to Green for the info about it, because it's technically what they said, but there's buff for 1 or 2 traits as I described. Gotcha. These coding to some dating minors, but for what it's worth. That's good to know. I need to look at the wiki for how to do that too, for child education. Obviously, I know there's that trait you get for learning. I think it's pedagogy, right? And then I think it is based off the learning stat, and obviously court tutor too, and their learning stat. I love writing 2-page letter to the EU. It took hours. For the Millennium Dawn game, you mean, or for what? Stefani has come of age, one of our youngest daughters. She is a thrifty clerk. Zealous, humble, just, and bossy. She's a very good Christian woman, I'll say that. One we can certainly marry off for alliances or other things. We have all the traits, so we actually can't do anything with that extra one. granddaughter, Osana. From Osana. Who is she married to? She's not married. Ah. Zealous, brave, and humble woman. Also a good Christian. I'm very surprised she had children outside of marriage vows. Yeah, unmarried. Oh boy. We're not the type of man to, I think, judge too harshly on that. It would not be a huge fan of fornication, but they're of our dynasty. So we have a grandson born without a father. There's an even one, just a bastard. Merodot it is. We need to find her a wife before she does that again. Let's try and cut that off at the head. Where's Osana? Was that our daughter or was that a granddaughter? When was it? It was our granddaughter. It was the daughter of our dead son, the one who was murdered. Oh, all right. Let's find her a husband, as I said. Try to keep the bloodline a little separated here, if possible. Libya Superior. Where's that? Oh, that is way down there. Western Egypt. Well, it might be a good idea to send her very far away after that, to be frank. Unless there's a better option. There does not appear to be. All right, we will wed Ovana, our granddaughter, to Strategos Jordanis of Western, modern-day Egypt. The Thema of Libya Superior. A young man, capable, good Christian. He'll raise our granddaughter, I think it was, very well. Rant about Paradox. I forgot I added those. I did add some new channel point things. Rant about Paradox. All right. What about Paradox? Oh boy. I could rant to you about what I'm putting in the video that I've been too afraid to make for like a year. So, all right, I'll do a little short rant here. So there's a video I'm working on right now, which I've been too much of a coward to put out for a very long time because I don't want to piss off Paradox. Where essentially there's two videos actually. One is basically a history of Paradox Interactive, who they are, how they came about, their main leaders who kind of shaped them in general. All very capable and very interesting people. The founder himself, the story of Paradox in the early days is actually very cool. I guess cool is the wrong word, complicated. It was a board game company that basically developed a few video games, did very poorly. And then the guy who was kind of more or less the founder, I forget his name, very interesting guy. He's been their CEO on and off for around 2 decades. Very capable man. He basically just asked to buy the rights to make video games from Paradox Interactive, the publisher, and founded the company. In the early days, it was very capable, but over time it got very big and very greedy. In the video, I talk about something I now have come to view very strongly. In the old days, I used to fucking hate Paradox, I'll be honest. If any of you watched my early streams, you'll remember me rant angrily about Paradox and hate them. Mainly because I dislike greed, excess greed at least, one that fucks people over just for a few extra dollars. Doesn't matter who does it. Doesn't matter if it's Walmart, doesn't matter if it's JP Morgan or a video game developer. That shit pisses me off, especially when creativity is involved, because fuck you. My views on that has radically changed in the last 2 years, primarily due to the fact I realized I was putting everyone at a company together when that's not how it works. Paradox is fundamentally a game company. It's a creative company, right? They make interesting games. And I'd always equated the people who actually make those games with the people who make the financial decisions, which, as we all know, in any business entity, tend to not be, what's the word to put it politely? They tend to be motivated by the less virtuous traits that one might see in CK3, for example. And I realized that the developers in Paradox and the people who make these games and code them and design them are fantastic, and they put a lot of work and a lot of love in these games. You see it all the time. And what I and many people to this day continue to do is equate the makers of these games with the poor decision making and greed of the financial elements of a corporation, right? And so in this video I'm working on and have not put out because I've been very cowardly, I basically break down the fact that people need to stop equating, and I need to stop equating, the people who make these games and any sort of video game from the people who are telling them what they can and can't do for financial reasons. Paradox has become a greedy, money-grubby corporation which fucks over creativity in order to stretch a dollar, right? But it's not the developers who do that. It's not the people who make these games who do that. It's the corporate and business echelon of the company, which is very large. It's a considerable portion of the budget and the personnel at Paradox. And I think it's very important to remember that the people who love and make creative projects, whether they be media like TV or movies or video games, are always beholden to the money. And that's something I've come to terms with, and it's fucking bullshit. But it's important to differentiate. There's your Paradox rant. Hope that was good. Are they forcing you to pay for stuff that should be in the game for free? Yes, and that used to piss me off because I blame the developers. Like people in Victoria 3 right now, for example, if you listen to guys like Spudgun rant, they'll be really angry at the developers, right? A lot of their anger is directed at the people who like the game leads, like Wiz, and then the other guy I always forget. Name's very hard to pronounce as well. When in fact they should be very angry at the corporate level of the company, which again is being greedy. And I am certain there were conversations with the game devs for Vicky 3 who wanted to do things and go further, and were told no. You're gonna wait, you're gonna monetize it, or we're gonna put it in a DLC. So, yeah. Geez, it was less sponsorships and more I didn't want to piss off a $3 billion company, right? People don't realize how big, wealthy, and powerful game companies are and what they can do with that, right? Like, man, I've done a lot in politics. I've done enough with powerful groups. I know what they can do when they don't like someone or something. And usually you can go under the radar. But I know what those groups can do. It's not like assassinations or car bombings. It's just subtle stuff. And yes, I was very cowardly towards that. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. Paradox owns White Wolf, the publishers of the World of Darkness games such as Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah, it's absolutely really cool. White Wolf is fantastic. They make a lot of like RPG game books too, and role-playing game books and board games and stuff. They're a great publisher, which Paradox has consumed. Executables only exist to maximize profit. They barely even interact with making of the game and are so detached from it that, of course, they only care about sponsorships. Yeah, I mean, it's not innately not understandable, right? The job of the MBA, the job of the, you know, executive, the CFO, the CEO, etc. Their job is not to be creative. Their job is to maximize profit. Publicly traded companies are beholden to the shareholders, and their ability to remain profitable and have investors is based on the return on investment, right? So what they do is a natural result of what they are. But when it's involved in creative elements like a video game company, it gets very hairy because a lot of sacrifices for art, which is what games are fundamentally, is given on the altar of greed, unfortunately. The devs are never the ones that are at fault. They maybe somewhat, but that is only because of the decisions of the higher ups. Exactly. There's a fine limit though. Some movies are earning highest earning movie in over 10 years, but still made a fourth of what they spent on the movie, so there's no sequel. True. I mean, that's the thing, right? Even for creative things like, you know, like a company that makes movies or TV shows, or a game company, they do have to remain profitable. It is necessary to have those components. It's just when the creative elements get pushed aside for the executive and the financial ones that you have problems, like Paradox currently does. What's up, Curse? How are you doing? All right, back to it. My Marshal Mayor Mikhail has brought forward undeniable evidence that my great-grandson Mayor Dot was fathered by none other than him. I'm glad we figured out who it was, because we had no idea. I'm not sure of what to say or how to feel. At least it's all out in the open now. So this is Mayor Mikhail Begarin, a lustful, brave, zealous fornicator who screwed our granddaughter. Not an incapable man by any means, but 52? Really? Surprising. Very well. Well, she's been married off to Strategos on the other side of the world, so it's fine. We'll just try and keep this brushed under the rug and minimize the fallout. We will take cutting cornerstones. We also have a lot of income right now. We are going to use that to upgrade our barracks in Devine. The more we can develop the capital, the better for future generations. Armenia is not, I wouldn't say Armenia is not glorious. It's a glorious nation, a glorious countryside where it dwells, and a beautiful history. But compared to the glory of our neighbors, perhaps not. We've won the war, and our son will remain a landed vassal. The Countess of Kartli's invasion of him has been stopped. All right, let's go ahead and hold court. It's been quite some time. My shepherd's young beard dot to my side. This is our grandson, clearly racked by anxiety. My lord, is he speaking to us? This not but 1-year-old child is currently speaking to us. What do you do when like a just born baby walks into your courtroom and starts petitioning you with perfectly good Armenian? What the fuck do you do? Oh God. I'm not hallucinating, right? You were seeing this. He does have 2 learning. My lord, I am sure someone in the kingdom is out to get me. I have no evidence, but suspect Mayor Shan Shah. He's always positioned himself as my enemy. You're fucking zero. What do you mean your enemy? What the hell? Is this just like a reincarnated soul from our kingdom that like didn't lose his memories or some shit? Or is this just a demon? I can't tell. It could be either one. There's no way to tell. Yeah, reincarnation or something like that. That's an exceptional child. I'm gonna roll with it. Oh, we'll have to help our grandson. Let's go ahead and offer to take him under our wing too. Never before have we seen a babe barely clothed and able to crawl petition us in our throne room. So I think that child needs a good education. And we will look into it for him. Probably one of the most, you know, King Vram's seen a lot of shit in his life. He has seen some stuff, I can tell you that. But that was probably the most wild experience so far. I'm faced with Vog's sad eyes, which is our grandson, which grow larger and more pitiful as his guardian, Ishkan, gently ushers him towards my throne. King, the boy has been at your court with no one to watch over him since the death of his dear father. Please look to his future. He is my own blood after all. I mean, this is our grandson, and we have personally looked into his education, but sure. We'll make him our ward, I suppose. The woman who approaches my throne is clearly a commoner. But Lord, I represent the local community of Devine. In the last few months, our cemetery has been plagued with the disappearance of bodies. All had been dug up and left with no trace. At first, we field wild animals. Our obscure powers at work, but then your court physician, Julia, was caught red-handed. Our old physician did this too. I mean, we personally have an interest in anatomy. King Vram himself does do autopsies, so she's probably just been getting them for us, let's be honest. We gotta cover our ass here. We'll tell her to stop and also sweep that under the rug. A lot of that going along very recently. Well, we have 2 very interesting young awards. We have our grandson and heir, Bog. And we have, actually, we should have him tutored in his final days by someone else. We're not a warrior. Put it back under the guidance of Ishkan. Supposed to have been plotting the womb. Pretty much, yeah. It might be a demon. There is a good chance of that. It's gonna be one of those wild legendary stories that become folk tales. I mean, a baby petitioning the king to stop him from being murdered with perfectly good language. Yeah, that'd be folklore, I would imagine. I mean, how wouldn't that be? The Battle of Garni. With vivid clarity, I remember when I defeated Herat in the Battle of Garni. It was a battle that took place in the mountains, a terrain I was greatly unprepared for. Since then, I've been mulling things over. I'm confident that if the battle happened today, I would be much more competent. Terrain expert or a flexible leader. King Vram's more the type to be flexible, I think, so we'll go with that. He's a learned man. Why do all the Jewish characters CK3 have such high learning? Well, because historically cursed, I mean, Jewish culture tended to be very well educated as a, if not a cultural thing, certainly one out of necessity and need. I mean, they were constantly the scapegoat. They were constantly hunted down and slaughtered. They needed every tool at their disposal in history. I mean, Jewish culture and Jewish communities in a lot of countries historically have been incredibly well educated, incredibly wealthy and prosperous for many reasons. I don't know if that was a common thing at this point in history, but certainly became one later. I mean, when everyone wants to kill you, whenever it's convenient, you need to make yourself as inconvenient as possible to murder. So I think that's probably the general gist of it. Your grandson is a guy? Is a what? It's like the tale of Eric the Holy creating the Swedish flag after apparently seeing a yellow cross in the sky. Hallucinations, you mean? Is he still flexible in other parts? I mean, given he's 71, I doubt it. He can probably barely walk. Jews spend 90% of their time running away from pogroms or studying in libraries. I mean, yeah. You get, I mean, the thing is, like, the Jewish culture, I'm no expert at all by any means. I have made it certainly one of my goals in life to be educated on religion, though not an expert, but it is a big part of Jewish culture. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I mean, like, for example, what's it called? Shabbat, right? Isn't that day explicitly, like, supposed to be about learning itself and taking time to obviously enjoy the higher pleasures of the mind and things like that? Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Isn't it a large part of the culture itself? I mean, respect and a healthy desire to be learned. Correct me there, but I do believe, isn't that part? All right, we will ransom Nakaridi of Karak. We can use the gold. The king is possessed is definitely a Swedish flag situation. Our king is currently possessed, yes. He got sick and he was given a particularly questionable ailment from our physician Julia, and he's never quite been the same. What's up, Banner Chaos? He is very more than eccentric in his late years. He's always been a little odd, a little eccentric now. Probably well past that. Very curious to see what Vog will get here. A Jewish first name in my aunt is Jewish, but that's where my connection is. That's fair. The baby is the demon. Well, King Vram, I don't know if he'd be a demon. He's been possessed by something. It might have been due to all the, speaking of which, mystical communions he's been doing, where he's met some very interesting entities. Let's do that again. We're going into deep meditation. My preparations for my mystical communion is well underway when my Archbishop Alexander approaches me. I do not believe what you are doing to be entirely orthodox. Well past that. You also got to remember, Armenia in this time was converted to Christianity. We did so, I think, around 100 years ago. But this was still a point where, like, historically, Armenia incorporated a lot of beliefs and traditions into their religion, right? I mean, we're technically in the scene of Christians, right? But in reality, Armenia during this time period was still using a lot of traditions from Zoroastrianism, Hellenic paganism, and 101 other little religions too. So we're not used to being orthodox. I do not believe what you're doing. A good decision should refrain this kind of behavior. Too bad. We need a new chancellor, given we had a replacement, I think, for the one that was murdering everyone. We'll go with Prince Varn. Oh, he's our spy master. We need someone we can trust here. We'll go for Mayor Memagon. He's very capable. And we just lost our steward, too. Man, our council is dropping like flies. I'd say we would suspect murder again, but really, it's just a generation that has aged with us and bring us close to our own demise here, I think. Good steward. We'll go with Mayor Michael. He did foster a bastard with our granddaughter, but he is capable. No, wait, he's already assigned to our marshal. We'll go with Stefani, our daughter, then. Big beards are, for the most part, really cool. Yeah, they're very itchy, though. I'm not technically Jewish because it passes from the mother. But isn't it about learning is about not working? Yeah, but wasn't that a common part of it, though? Was like various things like music and then learning literature and things like that. Did not work in the seventh day. Yeah, like all Christian faiths. So did not light a fire. Literally anything that counts as working isn't allowed. Yes. But isn't writing, erasing, tearing, business transactions, driving or riding in cars or vehicles, shopping, using the telephone? I mean, obviously very Orthodox Jews. I mean, well, even not like... Don't like, for example, many Orthodox Jews like on the day explicitly get someone else to turn the lights off and on and things like that too. But green iPhone, and I'm wrong here if I am, but totally fine. But didn't it become more of a cultural thing for it to be used for those sorts of things though? Or am I just completely wrong here? I was told that. What's up, Haggy? Western Rome is still very much dead. Eastern Rome still lives though. There is a successor kingdom that is not the Huns in Italy, but they're certainly not Western Rome. And he's a witch. My God. They just lead them on. Okay. Didn't Armenia go Coptic at one point? I'm not too sure. Did they? I have no idea. Exarchos Aurelius of Francia. Yeah, Francia has become very strong. No Carlings on the throne, but strong all the same. The map has become very interesting already, hasn't it? I mean, Bicklin has conquered all of northern England. Gwynedd has expanded rapidly in the Isles too. Independent London. Yeah, the map is very interesting. All right. Let's get our daughter's married. Stefania first. So I'm gonna go get an allergy pill in a minute here. Oh, I fucking hate this time of year. Koopa. In the east. He is the heir. Yeah, barony. An Iranian baron's son. That would be a good marriage for Stefania. He's very healthy too. Rostam Sassanid. He's even got the name. That's a great dynasty. That's a good marriage to a great family. We'll marry them together, giving us a bit more of a link to the east. Then for Haranush. Another daughter. Need to be landed optimally. What is Damascus? Damascus is a very wealthy trading hub in this time period, if I remember correctly. A little below, I think, our status to marry our daughter to, though. Could marry to one of the sons of the current rulers of Iran, but it's elective. They're a republic now, so it actually doesn't do a lot of good, does it? Let's look again. Irrelevance. Victorian. They're Tiberius. We'll marry her to Praetor Eugenius of Algarbia. Capable leader of one of Rome's many regions. A good husband for one of our younger daughters. And we actually have our daughters married off. But the tradition of the day is to read and learn. I just thought it was a big part of it, though. It's literally one of the only things you can do. Yeah, fair. The culture of learning is less about Shabbat, but more about how we view the study of the Torah and import that into our personal lives. Okay. I wasn't saying it was the whole part of it. I just thought it was a very large component from what I've been told. Both Coptic and Apostolic are Miaphysites in their doctrine and don't subscribe to the Council of Chalcedon. So that's probably where the confusion comes from. That was pretty recent, too. Wasn't that like a couple hundred years ago? The early schisms of Christianity are really complicated, and paradox don't go all the ways in representing the sex properly. No, but Fallen Eagle does go a little more deeper into it, which is cool. Yeah, early Christian sects and early Christian religious schisms were common and many of them were just lost very quickly in popularity. I've spent 3 hours using a name generator to rename every city, council, duchy, kingdom, and empire because I have. Personally, I have not notes all. What's this for? Yeah, this was a very primitive Scotland, I'll say that. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm breaking out. I'll be right back. I gotta get an allergy pill. Bad today. I am back. Hopefully that will help. And yeah, I will be doing a Total War CK3 campaign. I've also decided for the next single player grand campaign, I'm going to be adding in Total War, the mod for it too. So the next single player grand campaign I run in the future after the Taurus one, I'm going to be running, I looked into this. So there's obviously the CK3 mod out, right? That allows you to play battles in Total War. There's actually an EU4 mod that allows you to do it too. So we could do Total War all the way up to Victoria 3. And, oh man, if I figure out a way to like save edit in winning battles in Vicky 3, I'm not opposed to just running like Empire and Napoleon Total War battles for the big ones, just for the fuck of it, honestly. It'd be pretty cool. Alrighty. Oh, I can feel it in my very bones. Death will come for me soon. We have whole body. Like an old friend, he's patiently waiting to receive me. So we have a year left to live. We are going to die here. King Vram is very much nearing his end. We need to get our affairs in order then. We have a large treasury to leave to our grandson. I'd really like to know what he gets when he comes of age before we die. I'm sure King Vram would like to see that too, but you never know. We have a witch for a steward, that's fine. Any other major things we need to do before we die here? Develop the capital one more time. We're gonna embrace celibacy in our final days. We'll start chronicling our end of life. What else we can do besides wait for death at this point, I suppose? I would spend the money for a great feast or a great tournament to celebrate our end of life, but we're not that type. We look more to the future and we leave that money to our grandson. Much more important to do so. Yeah, it's already 2 anniversary in 5 days. Wow, what? That's been a long time. Years, man. It's been a while. I still remember young what the. You have matured a lot in the last couple of years, man. It's been cool to see. Point engine is pretty good. Not a fan of Empire. I agree. What I'd love to do, if I could ever get the fucking mod to work properly, because it always caused me issues, is if I could run them in Darth mod, obviously. Yeah, so he really has. When I first got to know him, you were pretty immature. I'm gonna be honest, you know that. But you got a lot more mature, man. You've gotten very good at roleplay, obviously playing in the server, and yeah, it's just been cool to see. What's that Reed Empire there? What Reed Empire, what do you mean? Oh, Iranian Empire, do you mean? I guess he's Iran. The Sassanids reformed into a republic. That's what it was. Now, what does matured a lot? It's been cool. I remember Drunk Imbo's DM, hey, I thought of something. We will watch you grow up. Was that 2 years ago? Yeah, a lot of the old members of the server, a lot of them have, I don't know, it's been a while now. We've all known each other for a cool minute. All right, we've been called to war by the Pontiffs. We will help them here. We'll rally the troops. We'll die in the middle of this campaign. A lot of men too. When you're in your teens, I mean, you remember it's life. Your teen years are a very embarrassing time. Any form of development of them is commendable. Walking with Alexander. I was outside taking a walk with Alexander in the garden. While talking behind him, I noticed a gold coin fell out of his pocket. Alexander did not notice and has gone inside. Should I tell him about it? Of course. We may be very miserly, but we are virtuous men. And we will lead our men on this final campaign. West. Is our son ready to take over? You never really know, do you? It's easy to say someone is ready. He is a skilled tactician and a military engineer. You know what? He's gonna lead our men. He needs his first campaign, his first taste of combat. He needs to feel real fear. Where is he? Where's our boy? One of our Dikron has learned the Cardvillian language. It's working. You can never tell if it's working or not. Let's try and meet up with the army in the north and cut them off here in the forests. The duck song. I did add, all right, so I did add a new, I'm going to speak on this for a moment. I added several new channel point rewards, by the way. Predictions, if you want to start requesting those, you can do that. I did add song request, but it is not to be abused. I put it in the fine print, and it has to be relevant to what I'm playing. So no duck song bullshit. No duck song bullshit. It has to be relevant. No, absolutely not. See, I knew that would happen. And I put it in the fine print. Mainly because of you and people like you, what the problem causes. Yeah, I don't remember dark times when the fucking duck song got spammed. Wars are expensive, and with my treasury rapidly emptying, I need to think about how I will pay to keep my soldiers on the field of battle. We'll cut non-essential expenditures. We do not need to be raising taxes on the peasants right now. A, because we're not that type, and B, because it does more harm than good. We know that by this time. We've ruled long enough to know. Sapitruk for more gold. Landslide in Venant. A landslide has been reported in Venant, burying several villages and killing many. I'll need to act quickly if I am to help the people there. We'll send money and soldiers immediately to help for what we can. What's up, Tonorem? How you doing? See, I also put a cooldown timer. I've learned over the last 2 years of streaming that everything gets abused. The people abuse everything all the time. See, I planned for this. It's ready this time. But anyway, it is there if you want to use it. Oh, that's a big battle. We are not taking that. Did our son actually get here? I sent for him. What the hell is that child? All right, we're going to skirt around and do the siege of Kamana Pontica, close to the armies of our allies, so we have some respite if they come for us. You can't name military units in CK3 safe. Just heads up. Damn, I really like King Vram. I'm gonna be honest. What's the problem with CK3? It's getting good now. It's like CK2. You get attached to characters because they're interesting. God damn it. I did really like him. He was one of the more interesting CK3 characters I've seen in a while, besides the mega campaign. Great man. King Vram Shapa of the Urashkuni Kingdom has found peace in Christ's embrace at 73 years of age. He died from a seizure. A known murderer. He deserved what he fucking got. He killed our wife. He will atone for his unspeakable crimes. Fuck you, he will. It was justified. Fully. I mean, technically we're not allowed to murder, but it was justified. King Vog ascends to the throne. Having mastered many skills, he is sure to be admired by his subjects. A very young king, only 16 years old and in the middle of a war. Damn. The end of a great man's life and a great man's reign. He was strong enough and wise enough and good enough a ruler. Steer our country through many hard times. I mean, at 23 years of age, he fought off 2 great invasions, both with double the troops of his own. And through shrewd negotiation and good diplomacy, he found a way out and he retained our independence. No easy task being surrounded by such great empires. The Huns, Rome, and Iran. Great man. We are now King Vog, the Urashkuni Kingdom. 16 years of age. We are cynical, humble, and content. Skilled tactician and a military engineer. Quite capable. Let's get him some proper drip. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of this. For a warrior, I think he needs some more fitting clothing. He can keep the cut though. Just the clothing. You gotta follow. I missed who that was. You gotta follow Hyper Hungarian. We will not forget him. Great man. Very, very great man indeed. Sick armors. What kind of armor would he wear? He was trained in Armenia. We are more Western shifted these days. Bear with me. You know we gotta drip out our king here. Times like this, I do feel like I'm playing Sims as an 8-year-old, you know? Takes you back. Except I'm not locking into the bathroom and removing the door and doing sociopathic things. Youth. Is that really drippy cloak our other king had? We'll go with that. Not a bad look. All right. We are cynical. And what of our headwear? No, that's not it. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm playing Sims 3. There was another crown he was wearing at one point. Let's see if I can find it here. It's really cool looking. Thought there was at least. Or did he wear that one the whole time? I do love that they've added so much of these. Makes you more attached to your character when you put things in like this, you know? Given this is really an RPG, right? It's always nice. We'll go with the Crown of Constance. He really does look like a child, doesn't he? He looks like he's been put in clothes too big for him, and boots too big for him too. At that. Don't forget, like you forgot Dicron. Oh, did I miss channel point things? If anyone I missed your channel point stuff, let me know right now. I'll have a moment. I do apologize. The chat does sometimes move too quickly when I'm trying to play. I do miss things, not on purpose. If I missed any of those, let me know right now. Can you stream a Sims 4 roleplay campaign once? No, because I don't want to buy $500 worth of basic Sims 4 content to make it playable. So, it'll be a pass on that. We still need a rant. All right, what was the rant? What was the rant subject that was chosen? There are Sims challenges that kind of are like that. For example, there's an Ultimate Decades challenge where you play household from the year 1300 to the present day. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that. A Sims 3. True. It's very outdated looking now, though. All right. We do have a trait available. We're gonna go with martial, obviously. We'll go with strategy. The brooch of our father, the finger bones of the saint he bought, and the tapper of St. David. Our council, we will look to first as well. We have a lot to do here. We are really hated. What the hell? Everyone hated our father. What do you mean? He was a great man. Haters. He was a great man. They don't know what they're talking about. Oh, that's quite something. Unpreferred heir. Oh boy. We have a very tumultuous inheritance, don't we? We'll go over our aunt. She does like us a little bit. Barely. Oh boy. Oh boy. We'll make our uncle, Prince Decron, our steward. Also doesn't like us very much. Oh man, okay. Spicy then it is. We'll make our tutor, who we can kind of trust, I guess, Ishkan, our marshal. Oh boy, this is rough, isn't it? This is the one we have to be careful on, our spy master. We'll make our mother spy master. We have to be able to trust our mother. I mean, my fucking God. Whew. Okay. So our whole court doesn't like us very much. We know that. We're no fool, right? Actually, we are a fool. Never mind. Hold on. Let me correct myself. We are a fool. We don't know that. So everything's fine in court as far as we're concerned. And there's we get some weird looks now and then, but it's no matter. All right, we're gonna go west to lead the army. My gosh. All right, this is gonna be rough. Zachariah is better anyway. The guy paid for a kid / monarch to be named Tigran. Okay, thank you for telling me. What the? We will name our firstborn son Tigran then. Someone remind me. We also need to find a wife, but let's win this campaign first. Unpreferred heir, they can fucking prefer your soldiers' swords up their ass. I just picked it because he was complaining about the duck song. You want me to rant about the duck song? In the early days, when I streamed on Twitch, when I first became more, I guess, a hoist streamer, what the fuck even was I at that point? There were several individuals of varying levels of degeneracy who thought it would be funny to abuse a system I had made for enjoyment, one designed for immersion, to be able to allow whoever was watching to make interesting music of their choice to inform the vibe of interesting campaigns and stories and nations. I thought in my lack of knowledge and wisdom that it would be used for no other purpose. Unfortunately, I forgot to remember that I was on the internet streaming. And certain individuals, such as the man you see before you, what the child, technically, still young, saw fit to abuse this for profane purposes, abusing a system for their own benefit, their own humor. And in their dark deeds, they saw fit to play this song, not but once or twice a day, but to fucking spam it constantly. So when I tried to go through my song request queue, all I would see was the duck song. I will be honest, it put me on the edge of madness for a time. For a time. Very close, very close. Having one of those CK3 stresses break events. It's fine though. You see, the wise man knows. The wise man knows. To take away that which is given and not used well. And so it was in those dark times that due to the abuses of those who sought to profane good system for trolling amusement, but I took away the song requests and laid the duck song to rest, where it will still lie, lost in memory. Do you remember the waddle chains? What the? Unfortunately, yes, I do remember that. Here's your duck song rant. Dark times indeed. Alrighty. We stopped by a town in Salakert for a quick rest. This town is known locally for its amenities and being a center of leisure. Several guards of my entourage got distracted by the pretty local Armenian girls. We need to go soon, but perhaps it would be a bad idea to rest some more. And we need to go lead our army, so certainly not. We cannot do that. We're traveling to lead our army. Far more important than leisures in Armenian women. Tigran for our son, right? What's your intrigue? Intrigue is reading people. Diplo's convincing them to like you, like charisma. Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that, Reaper. That's very true. So you might not be able to convince them to like you, but you can tell they don't at least. A very, 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 very good point. We have 6 intrigue, not much better, but it's not just like abysmal. We still probably would only have a faint idea of what's going on, right? With such low intrigue. My gosh, he's all right. Well, he's fairly well educated and he's a good warrior, but that is it. So we'd probably still not know very much. We'd have an inkling of what's going on, but that's about it. We'd have a faint idea. Go siege out Vandon and meet up with ourself, who's traveling to lead our army. Forged through fire, we will know the mettle of our king. We've been declared war on by the Albanians. Or did I get that right? Yeah. Yes, we were. Yes, we most certainly were. We have been declared war on by our distant cousins, Duke Barbad, cousins of our dynasty, and his ally, the Countess Daria Shirvan. Very well. The troops will march back east then. We met up with our army and taken command. We will deal with these hostile, impetuous family members to the east. Oh my god, they do have a lot of troops though. This will be rough. Perhaps it is time for us to marry, I think. Much like our father before us, we wish to wait to marry one we love and could find time with. But no, we will have no such convenience. We will marry out of need. Wallachian princess. Oh, Jesus, we would not want to piss off her father. Maybe. Who else do we have? Young daughter of the king of Sarmatia. Sarmatia? Where is the Sarmatia at? North of the Balkans, one of the successor kingdoms of the Huns. I would prefer one more close to home. I guess not. Sarmatia has much more men. They're a little bit closer. We will betroth ourselves to Kara Valmiri. I can't say that. Emmeling. 10-year-old daughter of the 24-year-old sister or daughter? Hold on. Okay, sister. I was about to say, I hope that's not daughter. Sister of King Agenaric of Sarmatia. A shrewd and capable man, though a bit of a coward. Will betroth to his daughter and only call for his aid if we will need it. Well, 13 was an intrigue. My bad. No worries. He's gonna be spam with rants. I mean, that's what it's there for. I may have to increase the cost if this continues, to be fair. But I do know a lot of people just aren't using their points because there's not anything interesting, so I've been trying to add more stuff. What's the subject? Green. Ireland being a tax haven. Oh boy. You know, they're kind of being replaced now. So do you know what country is the most popular for corporations? You know what country has many of the world's largest corporations? Your first thought might be the US. You would be wrong. In fact, many of them are actually Irish, given their love for potatoes, a stagnant economy, and religious violent strife. They've found Ireland to be a very nice tax haven. Now, Panama is really where it's at, if we're gonna be honest. If you really wanna, you know, the polite term, fuck your countrymen over and hide your money like a cunt. Panama is really where you want to go, or one of the Caribbean islands like Trinidad and Tobago. It's great. Lovely place. Nice beaches. No questions asked. Just, you know, it's basically the modern equivalent of pirates burying their gold in the sands of the Mediterranean. Some things don't change. They just evolve, you know. Ireland's like that, just with, again, like I said, more religious violence. It's a lovely, lovely place. Tax havens are what happens when human greed becomes so intense that people, rather than paying taxes to build their country up, provide themselves a better future for their children, instead choose, much like a dragon, much like a medieval king from a comedically hilarious movie about tyranny, choose to hide all their money in small countries with really no political relevance that give them massive lacks of tax breaks on any corporate tax at all to hide their money. It is one of the many reasons the aliens don't talk to us. One of the many reasons that we will probably be destroyed by climate change and human greed. And one of the many reasons that Ireland is still even in many conversations, given that, you know, the only other thing I guess are how annoying Irish travelers are and how violent they get when they're drunk. Anyway, that's my rant on Irish tax havens. There you go. They're pissed off a walk-in, you'll end up with an 8-foot stake up your ass. That is true. Yeah, it's not very while alive too. You got to point that out. While alive, at least in the beginning. Important to remember. Also Cyprus and Malta too a little bit. How could you insult the harp, Hamu? I'm disappointed. Ireland's got a fascinating history. Don't get me wrong. I'm also very Irish in terms of descent, and Scottish, and Welsh, and English, but you know, they're not relevant anymore. Again, like I said, unless you're talking about being home to many of the world's prominent corporations and sending many heavy drinkers to go backpack Europe. We've been called to a war with the Spartans. Hold on, this is supposed to be the other way around. He's literally at war with the other person we considered betrothing to their daughter. That's hilarious. Who is stronger? Yeah, we'll join your war, but we cannot help you, I'm afraid. Yeah, the much more bigger problem to attend to. We do thankfully have allies. I think that's with our uncle. Oh, Princess Servart has actually come to our aid. That's surprising. Actually higher than that. You're Irish. Amazing mythology, beautiful country. I've always wanted to visit there. I've never been to Ireland. I've only seen it. I went on a hike on western outer in the Hebrides in Scotland. I think it was the Hebrides. No, it was the Isle of Arran, I think it was. When I was young, when I lived in Scotland. And I saw Ireland through the mists going over the strait in between. It was really cool. I was like 6 or 7 and we were hiking along the coastline on the Isle of Arran. And I remember like looking through the mists and seeing the distance land. And I was told it was Ireland. I assume it was Ireland. I might have been, you know, I might have been lied to by my parents, but it was pretty fucking cool. I've always wanted to go and I've never done it. I've never made the time for it. When I've traveled, I've gone to other places, but I've always wanted to go. It's a beautiful country. I've seen Syria and Lebanon with my own eyes. I really wish I could go to Syria. It's so fascinating historically. It's just obviously a very dangerous place nowadays. Levant is a beautiful place. I do wish that the Middle East was not as dangerous and chaotic as it is. You can certainly visit, but as an American, it is kind of dangerous. And I've traveled to dangerous places before, but there is a level there that is quite intense. And another war! He's at war with the Huns! Boy, do we know how to pick them for our allies, don't we? We can always break the betrayal, I suppose, but we won't be getting any aid from him, I can tell you that. We'll join it. We do have our allies with our forces now. Let's march on the army of our cousins. This is not looking good for us, though. We have good knights, right? Yes, we do. No, we don't, actually. Let's call for more knights. This may be a tough battle. If we can wait long enough to get a few. We have the money. But we can get them in planes here. This is big. We have to take this. He doesn't have anything to prove. We'll wait. I was thinking that perhaps he would rush into battle to prove himself as a young king, but he's not actually the type to do that. I'm going to be honest. For a very skilled warrior, a good commander-ish, he's actually he's not the type to do that. So we'll wait. We'll wait for more knights. We'll wait for more soldiers. We'll wait for them to tire themselves in the mountains before we take this battle. They do have a considerable force, and there go our allies. Where the fuck are you going? Guess we'll follow them. I can probably go to Syria, but I won't go back. Yeah, it's very dangerous these days. You should go to Iceland spa baths. They're lovely. Charles, I'd love to go to Iceland. Also a beautiful place. I want CK3 to get married to medieval dynasty and have a baby. That would be a fun game. You know, there's a game coming out that I guess might be somewhat similar to that. What's it called? Manor Lords, isn't it called? Kind of similar, I guess. But yeah. I'd always kind of wish that CK3 might add a feature where they'd actually make like towns like interactable, where you could at least move around in them and do things. Kind of, I guess, like they added for like the grand tournament feature, but a little bit more interactive. Day we get a strategy game like CK3 where you can actually move around your towns and go to different places like, you know, Mountain Blade and interact with people. You know, in 50 years when we're all old as shit, that'll be amazing. I hope that happens one day. Yeah, definitely check out Manor Lords secrets. Not sure if what you like to be referred to, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It may be a letdown, but I do have hope for that game, and it's kind of a you know, a middle ground, I suppose. My spy master has come to me with grave news. While we do not yet know who, someone is plotting to kill my nephew Mirdat. That was the bastard of our granddaughter. He's the one that we also, isn't he our ward? Yeah, so we're gonna make him our father was raising him, wasn't he? This is, if you remember, that baby who spoke to us like a grown man when he was 0, our nephew. We're not really in a place to take his tutoring ourselves here. Want a learned man to teach him. Oh, Julia, the physician of our father, our physician, a very trusted woman, hopefully. To look after him. See if we can call this Strategos. Strategos Jordanis the Trembling. That doesn't very much bring confidence, does it? We will call him into the war, though. He was right? So the baby was right. He is... That 0-year-old child, that babe, barely out of the womb, was very correct in someone trying to murder them. My gosh. An interesting child. You know, if we were zealous, we might do something rash, but we're a cynical man. We don't have any faith ourselves, so even if the child is some demon half-breed, not our business. Or he was hallucinating. That also could be. He was possessed. But Manor Lords, and yeah, I see what you mean. Yep, absolutely. I really have a lot of hope for that game. I'm very excited for it. They put out a demo a while back. I don't know if it's still playable, but I really did enjoy it quite a lot. It was an interesting kind of like in between like a managerial game, like a larger map sort of strategy game, much more condensed than like CK3, and then obviously like dynastic elements too. Really cool. I think the modding on it will be great. Anyway, back to the game. We got any more knights? We can. We'll recruit another good knight, Pavitra. Duke Ignatius of Arabia has announced to the world that he and his vassals have converted to Priscillianism. Esoteric aestheticism, Christian syncretism. That's super fucking cool. Except witchcraft. Are these like Christian Sufis? Is that what this is? Looks like it. That's pretty cool, actually. Having become disillusioned with the teachings of the Nicene priests, the nobles of Arabia no longer consider the clergy to be righteous and true. As Priscillianists, they believe their new faith properly aligns with the will of the deity. They are distancing themselves from the former religious institutions. Does this have a write-up on it? There exist two kingdoms, one of light and one of darkness. Almost like, so it has Zoroastrian elements, I think, right? Souls were intended to conquer the kingdom of darkness, but fell and were trapped in the material realm. Among humans, there are 12 patriarchs of light who failed to overcome the darkness as they were split between body and soul. Thus, God sent the Savior to Earth, and through his death, once again enabled the freeing of human spirits. That's fucking cool. Yeah. What's the poll for cheese? What would you like the poll to be of? Could one of my mods please make the poll he's asking for? Demo is gone. That's a shame. And yes, Secret Sis is a mod. This is the Fallen Eagle mod for CK3. It's it gives you a start date during like the latter days of the Roman Empire when East and West was split, and you kind of get to see the fall, the arrival of Attila and the Huns. Apparently, they also have features added in for the rise of Islam if you play long enough too. It's a very good mod, highly recommended. We won't be converting, but that is cool. I'm gonna follow leg shot Lenny 0. We really do need better knights. We don't have the funds to pay for them, nor the funds to pay for our army, it seems. Ah, Strategos has sent his forces. Good. Despite being named the Trembling, he has sent his men. Well, first battle. We need to take this. He's got a beard. Hold on. Hold on, bud. You can do better than that. We gotta finish dripping up our boy here. Can't be doing him dirty with that beard. He hasn't really lived long enough or been able to, I'd say, grow a larger beard from 0, so. Oh. We can go for the mega sideburns. Oh boy. I don't think we're gonna be that cruel to him. That's a good fucking beard. That's a good fucking beard. He's too young to grow that beard though. We'll go with that one. It'll full of secrets. Yeah. As much as I'd love to give him that giant beard, he's far too young. We'll give him one he could maybe grow. How old is he? 18. Yeah, maybe. I won't think it'd be quite that full though. We're gonna take the battle. Boy, hold on, I'm gonna play a song here. We need that pump up music right now. There we go. All right, the first battle of our reign, and an important one too, as we face our cousins in Albania. We have allies, we have overwhelming odds, but we are an unproven commander in battle. Here we go. The majority of the forces got away. We did cut off a small detachment. We'll pursue them into the mountains. These are our lands after all. All right, we can't fight them in the mountains. We'll wait. They'll have to come down. It is winter, if nothing else. Who's leading that army? Uji Arastruni. Oh, very capable commander indeed. Far our superior in terms of skill. You know what? Fuck it. They could wait in the mountains. We're gonna go siege out their capital. They're moving. Hold on. We'll wait until they come down to the hills optimally. You'd think that Gnostic and Duelist Faiths would do better in CK3 since they are like each other, but they always get killed. Yeah, true. It's a real shame. I always love it when interesting religions survive longer. About the religion. But whether we should take it or not, you mean? Oh. That makes no sense. For a simple reason. We're cynical. We're not religious at all. There's no benefit to going that religion, and we're just not a religious person. We're the opposite of our grandfather in that way, right? So there's no way we would convert. Can someone refund his points? So don't take this. Gotcha. For a mod, could you please refund him? Go with the mustache and the button chops. Oh boy, maybe later. If he makes some poor fashion decisions. The sideburns are really nice when you do them right. Mutton chops are not very good. I really like sideburns personally. I used to have them in college actually. In a nearby settlement I'm visiting, I see a house at the edge of town. The windows are broken, the walls look like they are crumbling and could fall apart at any moment. Weeds and vines are all over the building grounds, and the overall atmosphere is quite ominous. I'm gonna lower the volume. Blowing my ears. Hurt me. There we go, it's a bit better. No one's lived there for decades. One of the local elders explains to me when asked about it. It's certain to be haunted by the spirits of past inhabitants, so no one dares go in there. Save for a few hardy morons. You've always come out changed for the worse. I'm still trying to gauge his character. When you get interesting mix of traits like this you're not used to in CK3, at least for me when I'm role-playing, it takes me a moment to kind of think out how their character would be mentally. Humble and content doesn't mean you're not curious. We're learned enough. I mean, we were raised by our grandfather. I mean, he was the definition of a curious man. I think we'll go take a look. I don't think he's really the kind to look away. We're cynical enough not to believe in spirits, so we'd be curious to go look. Honestly, I kind of wish the 19th century trend of cool mustaches and beards came back. I could imagine a future USA president channeling Martin Van Buren. I don't know. I think like very unkempt facial hair needs to die in the past. There's very few looks that work with unkempt beards. I know I say that while many times having them, but it's true. But there were looks in the 19th century I really do like. The prevalence of thick beards and sideburns. I mean, thick beards do still exist in many countries in popularity, but in the West they're not as like common, which I do think is a shame. And I'd love to see sideburns make a comeback, honestly, just so I could wear them more often, you know. The right to rule Arshakuni belongs to me by divine right. Our uncle, Prince Dikron. Accept this fact peacefully. I'll make you do so by force. Remember when our grandfather King Vram gave him his title? In his mind, his sons would not take action against the heir to the dynasty. The fool. Treason it is indeed. We will not be threatened. That's a lot of rebellious vassals, I will say. My gosh. We'll call the Strategos into this war. And we will call King Agenarch as well. See if he comes to our aid. He's still at war with the Huns, though, so he does have his hands full, I'd say. We're going to take this siege. We're going to knock out the armies of our cousins and go south to face the traitors. Like our grandfather before us. We'll have a tumultuous early reign. Many a monarch. Make or break, baby. Also, reminder, I accidentally turned on Iron Man, so if we get game over, it's game over. Just a reminder on that. Years ago, you promised to aid me in a major border dispute. Brother, I have my own problems right now. I'm sorry, but sure, we'll send troops right after you send them to help us. We're also about to be in a debt. Can we take a loan? Yeah, we'll borrow money from local moneylenders. We have to sustain this war. We'll take stalwart leader. Our steward is one of the... We can put Dikron on the council despite him being an open rebellion? What the hell is this? We need someone we can trust. Let's send for a eunuch. Eunuchs make for good household members. Oh my god, more of them. Oh boy. Okay, this is getting a little rough, I'll be honest. Do we have anyone we can marry for alliances here? What of our sister, Izani? She's a dwarf? We may still find a marriage for her. Our cousin. Ah, CK3. All we want is alliance power here. Aurelian the second. Far too removed. The heir to Olympius II. My god, that is a good name of Egypt. We'll betroth our sister to his son, second son. And call for his troops in the north. Do we have anyone else we can betroth here? We need children, but we're not going to have them because our wife to be is too young. right, let's call his men. Well, this is gonna be rough. I paused the stream to look at the Manor and how dare you. I know. You're welcome. Now you share my longing for a potentially amazing game. I've given you the hype bug. Enjoy. It do be like that. Sometimes it's best not to know about good games before they're coming out. We'll get the siege shortly. Ooh. We're coming right after we deal with the invasion and the rebellion. My God, he is a needy ally. Oh, they are encamped in the plains. We'll take the siege and we'll march on them if we don't get any good prisoners. And we won the war. We took the capital. He's willing to make terms, demand gold, and we'll let them walk home. Now we only have the rebels in the south to deal with. There aren't many, though. We'll cut off the smaller army in the south. They are in the hills versus what are they in? Hills. We'll deposit our prisoners in David and go south. Did we get that court eunuch? Here's not. We need capable men. Recruit a courtier. Not what we need. We need club-footed. He cannot be a warrior. He's not what we're looking for. We need a good steward. One we can trust. One who has no motivations to do us wrong, as so many are already doing. We're not trusting like our grandfather. Deposited prisoners will march south and see if we can cut off that army. We may arrive in time. It'll be close. They're hiding in the mountains. It's a shame. Oh, Egypt has sent 1,700 men to our aid. Let's meet up with them and take on Dikron himself in the north. Unless we... Oh, we might get this. Come on. Cut off the warriors of the counts. Easily dispatched. Egypt has gone in. We're going to reinforce. Wonderful. They cut them off here. We'll defeat one of the armies of the traitors. Oh, a good victory. We'll march north. They're running. They have scouts. They know we're coming. News of that battle has probably already gotten there. I think they're retreating to their capital to meet up with the rest of their forces. A wise move. We'll wait for our allies and take them here. No, that's not the rebels. That's actually... We have 2 rebellions? Oh. I don't know what's going on. It's true, sometimes it can be anticlimactic. Sadly, yeah. Nothing's worse than being overhyped and disappointed. Every Bethesda game. Feudal times were wild. They didn't have Twitter. There's no military bloggers, you know, like we're used to in the Ukraine war. We have a report of troop movements on the roads to Tbilisi. Here's some footage. They're gonna go hide in the mountains. And we'll take one of their allies instead here and cut them off. They're not gonna even run. Fantastic. Divide and conquer indeed. The fields of Kartli. Surrounded by your retinue amid the whirling battle, you spot Vardin's banner. Could be upon him in a flash. You have no air. We are not cowardly, nor are we brave. All right, I'm gonna go grab the coffee I made and forgot about until just now. And while I do that, I'm gonna put up a poll. Do we rush and try and combat Princess Sirvart, the enemy? Do we go forward, or do we send one of our men to fight him? Are we the type of man try and take this battle for ourselves? I'll do a very short 1-minute poll while I do that. I will be back in just 1 moment. I'm back. Duel. We are gonna take it then. All right. Forward it is. We'll take the battle. Single combat with Vardon. He's a good warrior though, isn't he? A few brief moments, Vardon and I pace lazy half circles, each watching for an opening. I couch my spear, ready to defend myself while he clutches his mace firmly in hand. With a sudden twitch, our bout begins. Vardon! Screams my opponent. Did he just yell his own name? Is this fucking Hodor or something? Is this Armenian Hodor? He just screamed his own name in single combat. Some people. Blow from my spear and a kick to the gut it is. With a piercing thrust from my spear, I send Vardon reeling backwards, then step into the blow and kick him straight in the chest. Vardon's retort is carefully calculated, waiting for precisely the right moment to reply with several rapid thumps of his mace. My form is decent, with some lapses, and his stance is failing. We're gonna go at him really quickly. My spear arm moves fast as lightning and strikes as hard as sundered stone. Blow by blow, I beat my opponent into bloody, concussed submission, hammering him to the ground with all the fury St. George can lend me. Not religious, though. When all that's left is a quivering pile of bleeding man, I wonder if I've gone too far. And Vardon coughs hard enough to lose his grip on his mace. I give myself a sigh of relief. With the worry over, I kick my foe's weapon away and lay my own against his throat. It takes few tries, but Vardon gets the yield out eventually. We are victorious. We've won our first duel on the battlefield. You've overcome Vardon, his resistance broken, and his fate in your hands. As your focus widens again to encompass the chaos of the battle surrounding you, you realize you have a decision to make. We're not a cruel man. We will take him as our captive, though. A good duel and a good battle, which we have won victoriously. We'll take this battle here too. Oh, maybe not. We have a much bigger army. We're quite slow here. The AI now know to hide in the hills. They didn't used to do that. That's actually really cool. All right, here we go. Overwhelming force is not enough. We will put the traitor Dikron to the sword. He did escape with his men though. Oh, let's siege out Tbilisi. We will have many titles after this, as of course we will be revoking the traitors. I'm telling you, the Northern Duchy of Tbilisi, everyone who's given that title has become disloyal. Everyone since the start of the game, since we took it. It's kind of crazy, actually. It's like, you know, in Harry Potter, when the defense against the dark arts position, everyone becomes evil or goes crazy. Everyone who owns the Duchy of Tbilisi becomes an enemy of the king. The Shah, I should say. It's actually really funny. Gildikron, he's not a true heir, only the line of Canaan. True. Our uncle could have been a very good ally. He could have made himself rich. He could have acquired more lands through our conquest, but no. He chose rebellion, and he will face a rebel's fate. Nothing less. We dispatched their army. We took the capital, and we will end this war. We are not a cruel man. We are not a tyrant. We take no pleasure in violence or death. But we are a young king, a young monarch. We know that pity, that forgiveness are good values. There is a time and place for everything. For those who have rebelled and have done harm to our family, our uncle Prince Varn and Princess Servart, they will face the traitor's death. After we've revoked their titles, of course. We will revoke the entire Principality of Kartli. We revoke our uncle's lands in Western Armenia. And we will send them both to the god that they place so much faith in. We'll behead both. Our first rebellion is over. We have learned what it is to lead and what it is to not place too much trust in any one man, despite kin or blood. The families of those who have rebelled, those we will have pity for and will release. They did not commit the crimes of their parents. Alrighty, we've won our war. Young king, 20 years of age. We are a familiar kinslayer now. I feel like you shouldn't get that if you executed a family member for rebelling. But we are a kinslayer. That seems rather unjust. Wait, he's not dead? Who the fuck did I kill? Was he not in the war? I think the rebellion bugged is what happened, because Dikron was actually sieging out his allies. I think the game bugged out the rebellion. So our traitor's uncle actually still has his titles and we can't take them away. That's annoying. That's really annoying, actually. Oh. Yep. He's intimidated by us. We imprison him for his crimes of tyranny. The hell? We have no intrigue, to be fair. Let's at least unland him. We're gonna claim his title. And we will revoke it. And he will probably rebel for it. I hope he rebels. Make my day! He's rebelling. Good! We don't have to do this politely then. We have a lot of holdings we need to give away here. We have no troops due to it. Use console commands. Biotical Wolf, that might have to be the case. But no, if he's rebelled now, so we can take care of him. We'll just say that we didn't manage to take him in that battle. And obviously the Baroness of Tbilisi gave terms and was pieced out, but he has managed to get away and he's still in rebellion. We'll just go with that in the narrative. We'll call our allies in. We will need them. We also have a dynastic legacy. All right, folks, I'll put up a poll for this. Ignore the top one. No one sees that. What do we think here for our dynasty legacy, given the recent history of our family and the older history, if you've ever read about Armenia? What do we think would be our next dynastic legacy here? If you recommend it, I'll put it into a poll and y'all can decide. Obviously, I can see squatter traditions. I mean, we've been forced to become strong warriors, or at least learn warfare to survive and remain independent. I could see vibrant court and erudition, given our grandfather, King Vram. I think. Kin? Yeah. Bounteous loins. Oh, our grandfather did have a lot of children. Oh, that's true. Influential. Influential. You mean influential cities? Law. Mostly fair. All right. Put up the poll. We have mostly fair. We have yes. Points. Wire additions. What's the other one? I assume you meant influential cities. Then there is... Oh. I already had that, didn't I? Erudition. Alrighty, pulls up. This will be a longer one. There's no rush on this. Y'all get to decide. Back to the rebellion. Oh, we have no soldiers, do we? We really need to give away some of these titles. We have no one loyal to us, though. I'd really like to wait until after the war to do this, but we need men. We have to hope our allies come. Egypt will come to our aid here. Why can we not lead our men here? There it is. There we go. This takes a while, I guess. It's no secret that my cousin Sajida is carrying a child conceived through a sinful union. She's not a married woman after all. However, who fathered that child is a mystery until now. Estradios is the one responsible. He knows how to pick him, huh? He's not incapable. A cousin, he's in another, she's in another realm, so not our problem. We'll ride on the rebels to the west and then go north if we can. I really like how the AI actually knows how to use terrain now. That's so cool. I never noticed that in the past. This is why you need kin. We're gonna chase them over the mountains to the south. It's maybe a wild goose chase, but this is the smaller army and we need to split them right now. We have a sound enough military mind to know that. Oh my god, they are really running west, aren't they? All right, we'll go north anyway. We've got our allies from the Strategos on their way. Where is everyone going? Give a quick update. I missed the past hour. Yes, in just one moment. Measuring rod. While exploring my residence today, I found a solid measuring rod lying around. I think it belonged to one of my servants. Perhaps they have little use for it now. Anyhow, the rod is made of hardy but lightweight stone, and I imagine it might help me in a variety of tasks and matters in the future. Sure. We're not an arrogant man. Strategos took that battle. Fuck, we gotta get there. We won't. It's not in time. We'll chase after their men. Got a martial trait too. Good. Chivalric dominance. We are going to go down gallant first. Good soldiers. The current generation of young men from Turabdaran have won fame for their bravery and strengths while serving. We're going for removal law. Okay, mostly fair. Serving in my armies and garrisons. How close was that? Wow, only 10 in law. I did not expect that. Okay. Serving my armies and garrisons, defending the locals against bandits. They bring much honor to their families. Good. We're capable administrators. That makes sense. All right, so for our dynastic legacy, we will go for mostly fair, popular opinion, and a reduction in hunt and feast cost. What's up, good Doro? Godorozo? Crusade? Not quite yet. Crusades don't come around for a long time. Height differences. There are many tall people, many short people in the world. It occurred to me just now that though there are always people who are taller or shorter than myself, someone has to be the tallest, and someone has to be the shortest in the world. Sure. What would life be as either kind of person? Maybe it would be good, maybe it would be bad. Would I prefer to be one or the other? My boy just out here thinking deep thoughts. I feel like King Vog would definitely post on the Shower Thoughts subreddit if he lived in our time. Gives me heavy vibes there. I'm gonna be honest. He's a deep man. Deep waters there. The tallest person. Fuck. Oh man. It's kind of funny, not gonna lie. See, we can chase down these men. I think we'll hit them in the mountains there. We should still win this. No, they're gonna get away. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to Cartley. That is his army. We're gonna chase him. That's Prince Dikron's force there. We actually had them cut off from their main force. Come on. He's fast. You know what I'm gonna do? Can I do this? I'm gonna split off our cavalry and send riders ahead. The Flame Bearer. Whoa. Kagon Vinnick, the Flame Bearer of the Hunnic Empire. Now that is a nickname. You'd expect an Iranian to have that. Sick. All right, can I detach our cavalry? I can. We'll send a light horse ahead with a couple of our good knights. We'll send Annie. Never mind, we don't have many good knights. Hold on. There he is. He got very far ahead while I was focusing on other things. Attila II, not quite his equal. Attila, Leonard, we actually assassinated, our grandfather assassinated Attila. We sent a son as a ward, and we made good terms with him and treaties with him, and then we assassinated him while he still liked us. In cold blood. It was rather brutal. One of King Vram's darker moments, I'd say. My vassal Mayor Vaughn has been wounded, and the injury runs deep. Fear this body is not strong enough to fight this on his own. Surrounded by your retinue, and amid the whirling battle, you spot Mez banner. This could be upon you in a flash. Dikron's missionary. Not this time. We've proven ourselves. We'll send the mayor after him. We need a victory here. We need a son before we could be making risky maneuvers like that. March north to Cartley now. Egypt's arrived as well. Still in need of a steward, aren't we? We'll go of M. Karib. Bring order to the north while we do this. These are still our lands. We will rule there very shortly. Combine our forces. I guess cavalry does move quicker. I thought it did for some reason. Yeah, literally stabbed in the back. No one had suspected us either, because we King Vram, the grandfather of this character and our ruler before this, who we started as, he was very learned, and he actually learned their language. He learned the Uyghur language that Attila spoke. He wrote him a letter. Like, they actually like had some correspondence to each other. Attila really liked King Vram. King Vram offered to make one of his sons the ward of Attila, so they liked each other. So no one suspected him when Attila was stabbed in the back and killed. Well, one person did find out, but we dealt with them. And I will give you that overview in a moment. I just get distracted during wars. I need to make sure that we actually do well here, because this is an important one. We're dealing with our rebellious uncle. He needs to be put down. We can marry Kara. Her brother does still rule. She's an interesting woman. We'd like her, probably. She's cynical, compassionate, and greedy. This might actually be a healthy marriage. Knock on wood. I was very fucked up secrets. King Vram was in many ways a fairly good man. He wasn't incredibly virtuous, but he was mostly very good. That was one of his darkest acts ever. But you gotta remember, that's when the Huns literally controlled like all of this. They'd gotten to the lowlands, they'd gone into Italy, they destroyed the Western Roman Empire, and King Vram was very well educated, and I'd been role-playing him as a bit of he had a fascination with like Roman history and literature and stuff. So he was a big fan of Rome. And originally he actually did plan to work with Attila and ally with him even. But when Attila destroyed the Western Roman Empire and sacked Rome, in the roleplay, I just considered that King Vram would just like hate the thought of that so much. All the learning, all the history, all the great buildings, all the past that was burned away by, you know, this giant army, that he'd want to take them down to preserve what remains of Rome in the east, because they were not ready to fight Attila. So that's the reason he did it. He didn't do it out of spite. He did it to preserve what remains of civilization. All right, we are married during the middle of a war too. Our wife, Queen Kara. They said, greedy, compassionate, cynical, an elusive shadow, a bastard, and dyscalculic. Or dyscalculic? 5 Diplo, like us. Oh boy, we make a pair, huh? 10 martial, 3 stewardship, 17 intrigue, interesting, and 9 learning. With my marriage to Queen Kara, the realm expects us to throw a suitably extravagant wedding celebration. We are in debt. We cannot do that. We will collect the duty to pay for the wedding. Yeah, I know. It was sad. No, at the time, our king took no pleasure in doing that. As I said, he did it to try and preserve what remains of Rome and what he viewed as what remains of... Oh, fuck is this? Well, we have a new neighbor. The Bengal Empire, stretching from the Euphrates to the eastern Himalayas, the jungles of modern-day southern Myanmar. Holy hell, that is a giant empire. How the hell did that happen? Iran was a republic. The Gupta conquered Iran wholesale. My God, Grand Prince Samudragupta II, 49 years old, the conqueror of the Iranian Empire, the legacy kingdom of a powerful entity which has existed for probably 2,000 years. They swore fealty? This is why you don't become a republic, ladies and gentlemen. The elected leader of Iran swore fealty to the Gupta. This is like just like a proto early Mughal empire, but bigger. He'll be hated in the rest of Iranian history in this timeline, I can tell you that. The man who gave away the empire. Wow. That is something. He even has the empire title. He handed it to them on a silver platter. I'm just mind blown, frankly. He's really got a Bengal too, I think. Yes. Okay, wow. Well, that would be quite dramatic. Well, we're in the throes of civil war and a minor conflict against our uncle. News reached King Vram. He was no longer ruled, or I should apologize, no longer bordered by the Iranian Empire, one which had fought our great nation of Armenia many times, ruled over us many times, including in recent memory. Gone are the Iranian empires, and their place something far greater, far more powerful, and far more dangerous. Okay, well, so it is. It's wild, though. We could have gone after it, but we don't have the type of leaders to do that, so you gotta remember. Our grandfather, King Vram, was a scholar. He fought wars when needed, but he was not a conqueror, and we are content. We are also, like our grandfather and father before us, no conqueror. King or President, high or low, doesn't matter. In the end, we are all mortals. We're sick. Oh my gosh. Julia, she saved our grandfather many a time. Let's hope her care will be enough. Good. That helped. We are going to not lead the men. We'll hand duties over to, oh my god, do we have no one who can lead here? We're gonna just remove. We're sick. Let's send for Mayor Soros to lead the army. We are bedridden right now. This is not a good time. Bonsai charge here. We'll dispatch them and march west. I will surely see many battlefields before I meet my maker. Maybe. My library holds tales of war from 100 lifetimes. I recently acquired a tome on the Great Siege of Constantinople, as well as a time-worn scroll written in some ancient language. Who knows the forgotten secrets it holds? Whoa. You try and translate it. Yeah, why not? We'd be curious like our grandfather. March. Yeah, we killed, I think, someone else of our dynasty. Night falls and the single candle illuminated the script before me becomes shorter by the hour. When it flickers one last time and leaves me in darkness, the scroll secrets remain uncovered. We're sick. We've got nothing better to do. Let's keep going. I don't know about y'all, but when I'm sick, all I do is read. Too much. It helps, I think. Probably not. Even with the help of a dusty glossary, the scroll is reluctant to share its secrets, but I press on. As night progresses, the most incredible story unfolds before me. The scroll describes the Battle of Gaxia. Hanzin, commander of the Han, broke the enemy's spirit by having his men sing songs from the enemy's native kingdom of Chu. Commander Zheng Yu of Shu escaped with a small force of loyal men, but in the end, they were chased down and defeated. Study the battle. We are, after all, a student of war, first and foremost, as our grandfather intended for us. We will take this battle here. Good. dispatched their forces. They are disunited. Few remain. We'll take the army of Dikron here in the north, and then we'll siege out his last holdings. I was talking about the Gupta dude. Zoroastrians and Eastern faiths consider each other a stray, so I think the Super Bengal might hold. It might. That's the thing. Like, there is no Iranian title now. I mean, plenty of people have claims on it, sure, but all right, Egypt's going in. Let's follow. We will beat Prince Dikron despite him making the wise move to retreat to the mountains. We cannot catch this slippery bastard, can we? Very well, we'll siege out his castle. He's a tough one to fight, isn't he? My game's Orthodox won't tolerate a Catholic at Basilia, so yeah, maybe the same will happen. I think there will be there's already a revolt. Yep. High Prince Afrasabe the Fat of the Thomas Kingdom's Independence War. Yeah, they're revolting. All the local leaders in Iran are revolting. Yep, immediately. You're gonna follow Saligri. In India too. Oh, it's full-on civil war. Look at that. Oh yeah. He lost a lot of his soldiers too, cut in half actually. Wow. We may yet see an Iran forged again. I suspect though that we're just going to see a lot of independent states in Iran, and that's an opportunity. The problem being, we are content. What's up, Saligri? How's it going? Hope you are doing well on this fine Saturday afternoon. He is one slippery prince, isn't he? We fought him so many times and we could not clap him in chains. It was this late? I thought it was earlier. Christian history needs to improve. I know, 451. This is the right, exactly the right time. That was the fourth council. The halls clamored with a cacophony of conversation and debate between the bishops from around the Roman world and beyond, marking the beginning of the Fourth Ecumenical Council. With the bishops convening in the Bithynian city of Chalcedon, they have been called upon to discuss the controversies in Christendom and to adapt Chalcedonian creed to affirm Christ's nature and hopefully bring an end to decades of heated debate among the divided Christian sects. Nope. You should be no longer Nicene. Nope. Apostolic. I'm going to read this out really quickly. Put by the apostles Bartholomew and Thaddeus, Armenia Apostolic Church rapidly gained followers in the region and shepherded the Kingdom of Armenia to become the first ever to adopt Christianity as the official religion. Yeah, so we have a separate one now. They're Chalcedonian and we are Apostolic. Because, I mean, we combine a lot of other religious traditions from other regions at this time period. It was very unique. Very interesting. Armenia's history is fascinating. We are no longer sick. Wonderful. Good. We need more siege engines, don't we? This war is dragging out way longer than I expected. We're 24 already. How many years has this war gone on? 3. The other one was a couple too. You're non-Chalcedonian like the Copts. No. Are the Copts in the south? I bet they are. Yep, Coptic in Egypt. Tracing its origins to Saint Mark the Evangelist. Evangelist? Yeah. The Coptic Church is famous for both being the birthplace of Christian monasticism, can't speak today, as well as maintaining a long tradition of promotion of education and philosophy. It'll be very much relegated later on, but it is alive to this day. It's still really large. I think there's actually a couple million Copts still left, right? No, I know it's not too small. Be wrong about that. Do it quite well as well, so I agree. Glad to hear that. It's almost 5 already. I just started a little late today, to be fair. Ethiopia. It's still, in parts of Egypt, it's still worship too, right? Very small parts. I know the Muslims tried to get rid of a lot of it, but isn't there still some Copt sects left in parts of Egypt? I remember reading that. Oh, the Strategos died. We can't ally his children either. It's a shame. Egyptian Copts are still around in an ethno-religious group closer to Egyptian culture of antiquity. Yep. All right, let's take this battle again. My gosh, we cannot get a victory here, can we? Try and cut off their army. Nope, they're gonna get through. A courtier Julia has insisted on seeing me, even though I have made it known that I would rather be alone. My modest king, it has now been a long while since you last showed yourself at court. We all try to do our best. We're leading an army. What do you mean? To maintain appearances in your absence, but a Haistani court cannot function without the king in attendance. A long absence from the royal court has left it leaderless and without purpose. My courtiers are increasingly comparing their circumstances to those of prestigious courts like Rome. Well, go to Rome then. We are humble though. Damn it. We need to... Let's see. A pool of blood is congealing under the feet of Boethius, a diplomat sent by my allies to Strategos Jordanis. By the immense quantity soaking up in the fine carpet, I can only assume he has been bleeding on the spot for hours, if not. We're going to go make him see a physician. I've seen that event too many times. I really wish they'd make more events for courts. I like the feature, but fuck, it's so empty. Oh yeah, Moose, what's up? Grand campaign tomorrow morning. Just a reminder, folks. I'll be streaming at 10 a.m. tomorrow, not 2 like normal, and we'll be starting the multiplayer grand campaign. We'll be playing a Basque county in Iberia. I'm gonna follow Strider Dabby or Dobby? Eight glasses. Strider Dobby. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, let's take the siege back in Guria. Are you ever going to join the Vicky game rather than the sub? No. No, I'm trying to... Dobby. All right, perfect. I was very far off, wasn't I? No, I'll join future Vic games. Moose, I'm trying to play more single player because I'm just in the mood for it. I've kind of lost my multiplayer hype lately, so it's kind of relaxing. Try not to burn out on it. Our wife is pregnant. Wonderful. I do enjoy multiplayer roleplay a lot and multiplayer games a lot, but sometimes, you know, I really just do like playing by myself in single player with AI. I think especially in games like CK3, you can have really fun narratives in them. God, I don't know if I'm masochistic enough to go back to achievement hunting, Moose. Dark times. Like every noble is expected of me, I'd be able to ride a horse, but often and well. I could hardly administer a hailstone if I didn't after all. Today's errand is a trivial task in Rule Divine, something my entourage and I are best able to resolve quickly and in per. Without warning my steed Buck, spooked by some small animal in the trail, I'm almost driven hard, only wrestling control back at the last moment. Think we rolled well in an event there. Feel that? Yeah. Yeah. Multiplayer is a lot of fun. I love, you know, especially roleplay games over players, you know, and stuff like that. It's fun to play with other people, but it can be tiring, and you can sometimes be very much beholden to their whims, for better and worse. And you can have a lot of fun in single player. Yeah, I had a feeling, Leonard, that could be a very bad one. You don't get 3 paragraphs of text like that if there weren't stakes. CK3 writers are very sparing with their words. We took the siege, we won the war. Clap him in chains. He's a traitor. Man, there's so many traitors. We have a lot of titles we're gonna have to divide up here. We're gonna revoke his titles. We can't revoke that one. Can we execute him? Please tell me we can execute him. We can. Wonderful. He'll be beheaded. Get the Survart of Guria also rebelled, even though she is but a child. Can we revoke her title? We can. We will not execute her. We will release her, though. But we will take her lands. She's Chalcedonian. She'll need to convert as well. And renounce her claims. But we will be merciful. We're not a cruel man. Manuel currently is also going to have his titles revoked. No, he can't. Tested or in a war? We'll wait on that one then. Asarius Decimus. We're just going to make everyone convert to an apostolic. Can we? We'll have a mass conversion, and they're all going to leave our cells. We have an heir and a daughter. Yiva. Someone wanted the next heir named Tigran. They spent their points, but I assume you want that for a son, right? I mean, Tigran could be a girl. Tigran. Whoever spent those points, let me know. Would you like it to be named for the daughter or wait for the son? Your choice. She's also dyscalculic like her mother. You bought a girl child. Listen. Phrasing sites, my God. You can work on that. Spud gun smoked your weed. Oh boy. We got a spud gunner in the chat. You're welcome to stay and enjoy the stream, but if you're gonna troll, I will kick you. And Spud gun had a good video. He didn't smoke me, I'd say. He did respond to a meme video where I was just taking the piss out on toxic Vic 2 players. And I've got a proper video response in the works. I also did find it funny how he didn't mention my review, which was much more nuanced the video at all in that video. Didn't serve his points too well, but it was a good video. I did like it. I don't really dislike Spudgun that much. I just don't like some things he does in terms of, well, tolerating toxic Vic 2 people. But, you know, he does it so the rest of us don't, as well as obviously his active attempts to get people to not enjoy Vic 3. To be fair, Lambert's also guilty of the same. All right. You wanted them to be named Arya. We will do that. But we are not discussing Vic 3 today. We are playing CK3, and then we're going on to the Grand Campaign. We will give her a tutelage underneath, probably her mother, I would say. No, Julia. Of course, Julia. The position of our father and our own position, too. We have many holdings we're going to have to dole out to, and very few loyal men. Court. Lord Lambert reaction. Found me through Spudgun, really? I don't dislike Spudgun. I do like his videos. And he's not a bad guy at all, I don't think. I just have some, you know, different opinions than him, and I dislike the framing. He's not the only one who does it, to be fair. All right. The war is done. Let's disband our armies. See if we can get rid of, no, it's still being sieged. We won't be able to get rid of that title. Let's try and, we can't convert many people here, can we? All right, Zeriadris will convert, and then we'll let him go as well. Mass conversions. You should put Lord Lambert in the video instead of Spudgun. I mean, I probably will. Someone made a really good fucking meme about this, by the way. I will link this right now. I don't want to go down the Vic 3 rabbit hole right now, because my Discord's been full of nothing but Spudgun and Lambert arguing all morning, unironically. Kind of funny, actually. But someone made a really good meme in the Discord. Let me find it real quick. Tall, if you're still here, that meme you made was fucking funny. Let me see if I can. You might have to join the Discord to see it. Can you guys see this? Just so I don't force you to join the Discord, because I know some people don't like to. Let's see if does this work. Can you guys see the image attached? Told me this meme about that whole situation. I thought it was really funny. Robbie, a genuine question. Will you ever again join MD roleplay? Yes, I'm literally joining the one a week from yesterday, Lollipop. I'm going to be playing Zimbabwe. I'll be roleplaying as Mugabe. When giving out titles after Civil Wars, I usually search for loyal characters. They're better than just searching for some high skill randos. That's true, Biotical Wolf. I tend not to, though, for a simple reason. I will do that. When I give out titles, I always base it on the characteristics of my character. So if he's very high Diplo, I'll make very wise choices. I'll look for loyal characters. I'll look for, you know, ones with nothing, with more loyalty. But if they're low Diplo and low intrigue, like our current boy definitely is, I will assign them for more, you know, other reasons. I really do try and, like, you know, make the leaders' decisions even reflect in things like that. So we're probably gonna put more military men in charge. It's what we know, it's what we respect. So which will cause us problems, but still, that is the wise way to do it, certainly. Can you tell me what our goal is for today? Celegree, this is just roleplay. So I don't try and set, like, you know, challenge goals or anything like that. Generally, it's just to play out our characters and play out the story. Obviously, for King Vog, inheriting from our grandfather King Vram, it is to stabilize Armenia, build up a strong military like our grandfather never would, and go on some wars of expansion, probably in the north. So we are content, we're not ambitious, but we are a warrior. So we will be doing some fighting. When on George Bush series, oh, that was fun. Yeah. I will say the video I have in response to Spudgun will have a very, 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 very fun ending. I'm curious to see what Spudgun will say to it, so we'll see. Were you the one arguing with Lambert in the Discord? There were 1 or 2 people doing that. Yeah, Zimbabwe will be fun. All right, back to the game. Mugabe is really interesting too. All right, we have a lot of titles. Let's start doling these out. We're gonna look for strong warriors. Let's first look to our own knights. Those who have served us loyally. Our wife's one of our knights? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did that link I sent work, by the way? Can anyone see the picture? The context regarding it is I made a video, like a kind of fun troll video, where I was making fun of really toxic Vic 2 players and talking about how Vic 3 is better than Vic 2, which it is. It was way more nuanced than that. There was a lot of toxic comments to it. I got called the R word so many fucking times. It's kind of crazy, actually. I should have expected, because, I mean, they're toxic. Very toxic Vic 2 MP community, so it's kind of crazy. So anyway, Lambert and Spudgun, other YouTubers, like, responded to it in various ways, so it's a Hoi 4 focus stream that's about it. The R word, the one relating to it's the R word, man. Just look up the R word. I don't like to say it personally. It did work, yeah, so I thought it was funny. We already have a faction. All right, let's actually hand out titles. We don't have any loyal knights. They're gonna follow the Jadon. We'll need to... Love to hire them, but they're so expensive. Recruit a courtier and maybe find a good loyal man. But a noble, perhaps? In the meantime, who do we have in our court? Ah, of course. Our marshal. The man who raised us and taught us to wield a blade and to ride into battle. Ishkan. He's older now. Let's grant him titles. We would trust him. He served us very well. We give him the Principality of Carly and try and get him to end the tradition of rebellion? Why not? We will give Cartley to our mentor, Ishkan Venatizi. Gonna give out the other 2 provinces to local Armenian nobles. We'll regret that later, but that's fine. In the north, the borderlands of Guria, we need a very strong, capable military man there. Ardon Kogian. Scallion, that's the one. He's a strong man, he's a capable warrior, and that's what we would like, that's what we would respect, and that is certainly what we need. And in the west. Leased out title. We'll give out the region of Tau then. We'll go to a local Armenian person. Any other warriors, actually? There are Advis. He hates us. He was in our prison. Yegi Shi Zorabian is also... No, he's infirm. Fuck. All right. Armenian culture. Same with Kars. And same with Annie. Annie's very valuable, isn't it? Oh, the plains in the south, to be fair. We'll grant it, Annie. Try something real quick. She has no stewardship, does she? Unfortunate. We'll grant Varto instead. This we will want a warrior on. Wouldn't like Zealous, would we? Mars Dots, a strong warrior as well, and one to hold the hinterlands in the west. All right, we've passed out our titles. We're fine now. Why have you pinned the late father of Attila? It's a good question. I was keeping track of him, I think. He's dead now, so we don't need to. All right. I've been screaming, my heart beating fast. I had been chained naked or collared, while a dozen men and women with the heads of goats descended on me, biting and tearing at my skin. Then suddenly I was one of them, ripping my own flesh with sharp teeth, swallowing scraps. Oh no. Drinking blood, slurping. I have never felt anything as horrifying as what I saw to life leave the eyes of my ravaged body. It was only a dream. That's a fucked up nightmare. Full time. Y'all get to decide. How deep does our desire for flesh go? Our grandfather was possessed. Our father, well, our father was a very good man before he died. See. Do a short little mini pull there. Alrighty. I mean, we have no religious issues here. Something's certainly going on with this man. You remember, keep the roleplay in mind. There's not a lot of reason for or against this, to be fair. I mean, he had a very harrowing experience. Maybe he's having a mental break is what this is. You never know. How does one even become a cannibal? Like, what's the psychological process? I mean, I suppose for some people, maybe it's a power thing, I guess. Like, you know, like Hannibal or something. But for the average cannibal, you know, your average everyday, the cannibal you see on the street, you don't know the other one, of course, but the cannibal you see on the street, like, what's the process of becoming a cannibal? How do you get to that point? Yes, all right. Hard to get that taste out of our mind, I have to say. Gonna be haunting us for a little while, I think. What's up, Notorious? What's up, No? How you doing? I like the name change, man. Great warriors eat the flesh and heart of their foes to gain their power. Great warriors like our king. That is true, actually. It is a historical tradition. We'd probably be a little into pagan traditions. Speaking of a personal experience, all right, Dante, here we go. On 4K. It's cultural. There's no logical difference in eating people versus IRL animal. That's true. I mean, some cultures, it was a commonplace thing, right? That is very true. But I'm speaking more like outside the context and the bounds of cultural traditions, right? When cannibalism is seen as a bad thing, as it is in many cultures to this day, right? I was more like, you know, where the hell does that psychology come from? But you are right. In some cultures, especially historically, and even to this day, it is considered not just an acceptable thing, but even a prideful thing, right? So that is very true. Her girlfriend is such a cute wee goblin. She stubbornly refused to let me use normal dish soap to clean the washing machine, despite the fact that the manual says we can use it. Instead, I bought the Bosch brand slope because it's a Bosch washing machine. Maybe, I mean, maybe it'll work better and last longer. You never know. She sounds very, very detail oriented. I try to be notorious, but it's a Finnish word that means quotation. That's close enough. Sounds out that way. Notorious. Usually it's an act of desperation. That could actually well be. Trying to cope with reality, I guess. That's one way to do it. All right, our uncle has come to pay his respects. He actually really likes us. Oh no, that's not our uncle. That's our marshal. Prince Ishkan. That's our mentor. He is actually a good and loyal vassal. My God. Long overdue and long needed. He has a strong hook on us now. Okay. We need a chancellor. We'll go with Mayor Mamagon. We need good men. We need strong men. We need capable men. We'll send Ishkan to bring order to the borderlands in Guria. Actually have income, and we're actually at peace. Imagine that. It's been quite some time. Good time to hold court, I think. The trepanning of the soul. A figure in physician's garb appears has arrived with a case of tools, but my stomach churns as a hammer and pick are revealed amongst them. My lord, I am a proficient trepanner. The criminal vices you are accused of are not your own. You're but under the transient grasp of some spirits. I grant a passage to set them free. The hell do you mean? The grasp of spirits. Oh my God. Yeah, this was a thing back in the day. They poke holes in your head. No, but you can go speak with Julia. She's that sort of person, like our grandfather. All right. Countess Arada boldly steps forward and without providing any context proceeds in hushed tones. I'd be willing to overlook my grievances if you were to revise my contractual obligations to the crown. That's not how this works. We have poor Diplo. We're going to insult her if we can. The rumor to support Mayville's claim on Asha Cooney. Surely this change in Arda would be never publicly admit to. Yeah, we're just going to insult her. You play a dangerous game. Two Diplo life. An unusual case has reached my court. Two women claim that a baby boy is theirs. Are we going to go King Solomon on this? None of the villagers can stand as witnesses, saying that if it's the child appearing out of thin air, no one knew what the women were expecting or adopting. Nothing. I think you and I have a decision if you have high learning to do the Solomon thing. The mystery has captivated the people, and while we may never know how it happened, I must resolve this conundrum. What decision should I make for the future of this child? Probably it is. They're hanging us, hounding us. We could not keep order, my lord. Please, we can organize ourselves without all the death. A peasant woman from the county of Cardley, an area plagued by unrest. Yeah, it's been a battleground. Held by my court Count Manuel. In prison. Assures me that control can be restored with undue bloodshed. I mean, yeah, he's in prison. Force him to not be so harsh. Speaking of which, we need to take his title, actually. That's still being sieged. It's not a direct vassal. Well, we're gonna keep him in prison for a time. Rethink his treachery. Really enough, most people survive trepanning. No idea how. Yeah, I mean, survival, sure. You know, there are fates worse than death, Scythe. There are many fates worse than death. And I think feudal lobotomies would probably be one of them. Another martial proc. Good. Perk. Go of household guard. No. Manuel will not be released from prison. Absolutely not. He is going to be spending some extended time there. Playing Vicky too. How do you mean? Our wife needs to give us more children. Let's try and it's always good to befriend someone in a relationship first. Is he wise enough to know that? No, he's not. Okay. We're going to try and seduce him. We'll do the unwise thing. Oh, well, then again, apparently we'll succeed. I understand you're interested in deepening your grasp on warfare. Mayor Mushik Mushik folds his arms as he approaches me. I might be able to help you see the battlefield in new ways. Mushik is well known for his mastery of fighting infidels. We wouldn't care. If there's one who could help me understand, it would be him. We wouldn't really care about being a holy warrior. We're not diplomatic enough to want to also show it for prestige, so no, tell them to fuck off. Along with the strange goods, merchants bring tall tales from distant lands, unverifiable, full of wonder. A group of Pontic peddlers report they have brought Zhengzhung objects said to have come from the faraway court of the great ruler Yengmo Zhengzhung, no less. Theodotus, the leading trader, grins darkly. This unique dagger could be yours for a special price, of course, great king. A likely yarn indeed. If only I had some way to verify the hawker's story. We are still in debt, so no, we certainly will not do that. We need to get 300, I think it's 50 gold to pay them back, or is it 400? Interest rates would be so high in this time. Can we pay it back? Hold on. Oh, yeah, okay. 350 gold. Fate worse than death. True. It used to be playable back in the day. I remember the trepanning in HBO Rome. That shit actually worked. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Just releasing pressure. That's all it is, you know? I mean, come on. Logical, right? How you get the spirits out. And the personality, I guess. Everyone appreciates a gift, but perhaps I could come up with something truly unique to make a impression on Queen Kara. Compassionate, greedy, and cynical. Architecture. Poetry. Family. We'll go with family. She liked it. Good. I actually have a sizable army now too, thankfully. We'll pay off our debt and then we're going to go about building up more holdings, strong holdings. We also will go to war. I'm not in a rush though. Again, he is content. I will fight wars as him, but given he's content and he's been at war really his whole reign. Actually. We are going to take some time here. Coffee. No Armenian man could live without it, myself included. Yeah, it was prevalent in this time for the nobility. A natural part of our diet. Most drink it bitter, but some make it sweet by adding sugar. We seem like a no-nonsense sort. A humble man. He's not the type to use creamer. We'll take the bitterness. Speaking of bitter dark coffee. Our mentor is using his hook on us to assured permanent council rights. Ishkan, you wily bastard. We're always gonna have you as our marshal. You need not worry. Wonder if he'll have kids. He still technically can at 53. He's a warrior. He'll be in good health. Stoic. And our wife's pregnant again. Fantastic. Reading in Barony of Devine. The celebrations has come to an end and the evening's entertainment seems to be over when Queen Kara suggested a reading. A clerk soon arrives wondering what the guests would like to hear. I see my chance to impress her. We'll go for entertainment. And it worked. Wonderful. Most people should have watched Spartacus. Great show. Spartacus was very good too. I did like it. It was over the top sometime. There was way too much sex in it, I'll say. I'm no prude, don't get me wrong. I don't mind, you know, the nice hot sex scene every once in a while in my adult, you know, in good TV shows. But Jesus Christ, Spartacus was just so over the top. Right? I mean, that's the part I didn't like. The story itself was good. The acting was very good. The story was solid. I didn't like the ending, but it was solid. You know what I mean, Scythe. Listen, you can portray extreme lust and proclivities of the Roman era without making every fucking episode have some forced sex scene. It gets old. Their servants have all been sent away and our bed has been decorated with seashells. Interesting. As Queen Kara enters our chamber, she smiles doubtfully and joins me without hesitation. With hands on, help of hands, mouse, and limb, we reaffirm the devotion we swore before God. Yeah, that would definitely be what our cynical friend here is thinking about. Perhaps in more carnal fashion than intended. Wonderful. Success. Our wife is now our lover. Let's see if we can romance her next. Yeah. Joe, you agree? Yeah. It's like spice and food, right? I mean, sure, every once in a while you want to have nothing but spice. It's very rare. Normally, you want it as flavoring to add to the overall taste, the overall experience, right? But just being thrown everywhere willy-nilly, it overpowers the other good parts, you know? It's time and place, like a great professor once said. The time has come to let my feelings towards Queen Kara be known. I want her to remember this day for the rest of her life. Let's shoot for more hip. The way to do it. The candle's burning low when I finally finish my poem. Before I send it, I give one last read. Your heavenly eyes are what gives meaning to my life. Longing to have you close, that I may know the warmth of your embrace, my darling Kara. The waiting is unbearable. The thought of rejection makes me sick to my stomach. When her reply arrives, I tear the seal of shaking hands. Well, I can encourage you. Why not? You're our fucking wife. My liege, I am most grateful for your kind words. Didn't hate it. That's always good. I'm gonna explain sex. No. I want so much spice it makes me sweet. Otherwise, it's not spicy enough. That's fair, I guess. Not for everyone, though. If you were to stream... I'm reading my own stream elements thing there. HBO Rome had Mark Andy in it, and they so they had no choice. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. But again, you can... Rome balanced it very well. The HBO Rome did a very good balance of, I think, portraying the... What's the polite way to put it? The massive amounts of lovemaking that existed in the Roman time period, especially with nobility, in a measured manner that added interestingly to the story. Because it was more about politics, or, well, not with Mark Antony. He was just a fucking dog man. But, you know, mostly it was about that, right? Which was nice. It fit the story. Rome was a fucking masterpiece, man. The actors they had in it were so fantastic. Like, the choices they made for the actors was some of the best casting I've seen in a TV show, honestly. Like, just fantastic. I liked it that way. It was a balance, right? It always confused me when the wife responds that way. Lady, it's part of our contract. Oh no. It's feudal times. Fuck. Not the good times. Not the times of love. All right. We did have a son. Okay, so it was Tigran, right? Was what someone requested. Tigran. Prince Tigran. Are there any mods in chat right now? Could you make a poll for the education of our son and heir, Prince Tigran, with the usual 5? If there's a mod in chat. I'm not sure if there are any. Thank you, no. Or Moose, thank you. The rain is pouring down outside. My benign Queen Kara sighs as she looks out the blurred window. How wretched Devine can be. I wish I had someone to keep me company during long and dreary days. Is my pet a cat person or a dog person, I wonder? That's an important question, to be fair. It's a very important question. The answer is they're both lovely, but only dogs will actually love you. And that's truth right there. She's clearly, I think, very intelligent. Well, compassionate. But she's compassionate. Compassionate goes better with dogs. I think there's a bit of masochism in cat prefers. I said it. It's true. We'll go with a dog. A loyal dog. She dislikes the dog. Fuck. Well, we'll take the dog. You know, it's fine. Dog will save you. Dogs are fucking loyal. Dogs will love you. Dogs will look at you with understanding of what some degree of life is and love you all the same. Cats will never fucking do that. At best, a cat will look at you like, you're pretty all right. And then a minute later bite you because they're a fucking asshole. Right? That's the best you'll get from a cat. I like cats. Don't get me wrong. I do. You know, but I'm not masochistic enough to prefer cats over dogs. Cats are very funny. They're very intelligent. They're very interesting. They're very playful. They're interesting. They're good pets. But a dog, man, the relationship you have with a good dog, a loyal dog, that's one of life's great joys. As my dearest and I walk through Devine's gardens, I gesture at the greenery around us. For all their beauty, there isn't a single flower that rivals your own, my lady. Oh boy. There is one, she says with a mischievous smile, a rare orchid from Turgay, which is nearly impossible to cultivate. The monastery ruin in Bagavan is the only place where it thrives in the region. Very well. Well, we'll go after it then, won't we? And we found the orchid. Wonderful. Yes, I am still listening. Cat slander. Opinion dismissed. Ah, there we go. Marshal and stewardship tied. Very well. We'll give him stewardship, I think. We'll go for that. And cats do dumb stuff is the funniest thing ever. Yeah, or smart stuff too. Out of games of masochism, cats are a lot easier because they don't need you to take care of them. That is true. I get that. They're also more convenient. Cleaning cat litter sucks though. If you have an indoor cat. That is true. I'll grant that. That is very true. They are more convenient to have, especially if you don't have a yard to have a dog. That's fair. Like that's the thing is they're both lovely pets to have, and having a cat, if you don't have the space for the dog, the time for their dog, that's completely warranted. But given the situation to take care of either one, dogs all day. They're a lot more work because you have to treat them right. Like, you got to take care of a pet, and a dog requires walks, a lot of attention, a lot of affection and comfort that a cat doesn't. A cat doesn't need affection. It just doesn't. It doesn't need it. Once in a while, it will enjoy it maybe, but it doesn't need it. That's for damn sure. They're the definition of self-reliant. Robotic cat litter boxes, robotic food dish, they're almost completely offense. That's true. They are much more convenient. I think that's why many people do have cats over dogs. Is it's really hard to have the time and the space for them. All right, no, remember it has to be on topic. What song are we playing? Don't play some fucking Finnish obscure World War II song or something. Catnip. Yeah, cats on catnip are funny as fuck. All right, what do we got here? This is Finnish. Too modern. As I said, it needs to be related to the time period, so it needs to be something old school note. I'm not playing World War II songs in a CK3 game. Ottomans are semi close, but yeah, it has to be old school. I think a cat in an apartment is more taxing, I suppose, because it generally can't be outside doing its thing. Yeah, true. I mean, I grew up with both. I like cats and dogs a lot, but I think, again, like I said, like a good dog and a good relationship with a dog, it's a very unique experience. I think it's very nice. Old school. Like I said, it has to fit the period, it has to fit the time. I mean, just there's a vibe in every campaign and every setting that we play, right? And it's got to be in lieu of that, or in that. So, courtship. We're going down gallant. What? All seeing this, right? I mean, to be fair, aren't all Christians technically cannibals? Or, especially Catholics, old school Christians. Most Protestant sects don't do that because you eat the body of Christ, right? Technically. I know, kind of, but technically, right? It's like cannibalism light. I know it's not literal, but you know what I mean. I mean, there's a little bit to it. You're a metaphorical. You're a spiritual cannibal. How about that? Does that fit better? For me, it was two cats and lives in a house in the suburbs. They can handle themselves. We don't really have to clean litter box because they just do their business in the woods. That's the better way to do it. Having an indoor-outdoor cat's the best for sure. I've only had one relationship with a cat that came close to dogs. Absolutely. I mean, cats have personalities, just like every other animal and every other intelligent creature in the world, right? I mean, like, they vary. They tend to be much more, dour and hostile. Hostile's not the right word. Mean's not the right word. ill-temperamented, whereas dogs tend to very rarely be. Dogs are much more, I think they imprint a lot more on humans, right? So if you, especially if you get a puppy, but even if you get a middle-aged dog, they really do shape to the personality of whoever really is there, you know, takes care of them, right? So as long as you're a good person, your dog will tend to be as well. You drink his blood, so all Christians are vampires. Blood magic. All right, there's your song. Let me see what it is. Oh, that's interesting looking. Okay. All right, this looks legit. So it's a Georgian song. In I can't speak Georgian, so can't tell you what it's called. The British did eat mummies. It was a whole cultural craze in Victorian Britain. The unwrapping mummies and eating them and yeah, it's crazy. Am I from Caucasia? No, I'm not. But yeah, so apparently we can make the apostolic faith actually embrace cannibalism. If our chaplain becomes a cannibal and the patriarch likes us and we're religious, we can actually make apostolic Christianity embrace cannibalism. Can't believe that was added. That's crazy. We'd become the devourer. Oh man, I kind of want to do that now. Our creator God made us in his image. By imbibing the reflection of the divine, we grow close to the Lord. We can steal people's power, you know? Will you form in Caucasia? Perhaps, if we go that way, yes. Definitely a goal, I'd say. Best way to put it, the worst dog is worse than all cats, but the average dog is better than cats, and dogs have to be taught to be bad, whereas cats are just kind of just what they are in spite of human interaction. True, exactly. Yep. How would we make our chaplain a cannibal? That's a very good question. How would we make a chaplain a cannibal? Hey, man. You ever tried special prime rib? Very special. Got a very unique flavor. Well, we're technically not a cannibal, are we? We haven't eaten anyone yet. Are we? Hold on. Can we eat one of our prisoners? No, I don't think we're actually technically a cannibal yet. We're gonna get more events for it, I think is what will happen, but not yet. We haven't crossed that barrier yet. Repay your loan, we need 24 more gold. Cannibals and CK2 are funny. Eating immortals and absorbing their immortality was so fucking insane. Yeah, freaking wild. I missed those CK2 events. Really do. Right, that's a good song. Real talk, cats should be let outside. They are an invasive species. You're not wrong. Should be left outside. Yeah, when cats go wild, they have so many. Like they'll breed like crazy. Cats can have so many litters so quickly. We had a second son named Canaan. Sure, I'm fine with that. Our wife had a second son for us. We'll give Prince Canaan. We'll give him a diplomatic education. Lady Kara, let me prove my devotion to you in any way you deem fit. Kara ponders her request for a while before her face lights up. You should be able to sustain yourself on nothing but your love for me for many days. I mean, fasting's good for you, so sure. Fasting's very good for you. And it was a pretty big thing in early Christianity, wasn't it? I mean, it still is in Christianity, but especially in the early days. My homesick mother. I'm making my social rounds around court. I hear yet another heavy sigh coming from my mother. Whether intentional or not, Melissa's solemn presence hasn't gone unnoticed. Hello, my child, she says after the initial startle wears off. I cannot tell for certain if Melissa being melodramatic or truthful. Please pay me no mind. Simply homesick, that is all. I don't even get a chance to respond before she lets out another melancholic sigh. Leaving without a word is bound to change nothing, so I make the decision to speak. That's rather rude. We call our mother a leech. Let's try and bring her some... No, we need our money. We can't be doing this. It's her problem, simply put. Which is why if you have outdoor cats, castrate them. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very important to do. Fasting is good for spiritual needs and society needs to save food in epidemics, but removing food from the human body is bad for that specific body. It is to a degree. I mean, there's actually a lot of research nowadays that shows that when you take not super extended fasts, but especially shorter ones, it does have a lot of really good benefits. I mean, it can even help, like, cells rebuild. It can help with preventing cancer and things like that too. And it's very good for you spiritually too. If you've never fasted for a day or two, it's worth doing, if not commonly, a few times in your life. It's a very good experience, especially if you're religious. Us kill 2.4 billion birds each year in just America. Is that true, Frost? Repay your loan. Thank you, yes. Repay the local moneylenders. Perfect. Very de-stressing. Okay. All right. Count Manuel has come to pay us respects. Good man, good man. Loyal vassals. Never thought you'd see it. I think we should start planning a foray north. Into the Emirs. Chalcedonians. Everything is good in short doses, but fasting is usually for 1 month min, which is bad. I mean, you could fast for a month. It's not, at that point, it's not healthy for you. Like, the longest I'd say you should probably fast for maybe like 4 or 5 days. And even that you need to work up to, prepare yourself for. You have 15 cats and a really big dog. Hell yeah, Celegree. You're living the good life. What kind of dog you got? I love big dogs. I'll be honest, I have a strong bias towards big dogs. I don't care for many small dogs. They're not bad. It's just like, why not get a cat if you want a small furry animal, you know? Big dogs are where it's at. They're way more work. Way more work. But they're cool. Ridiculously high number. I know they kill a lot. I mean, the cats my aunt's got have killed so many. Ramadan is a month, but you're allowed to eat and drink after dark. So it's not like you're fasting for a whole month straight. One-third of households have a cat, and they kill 50 birds a year each. There's 2 billion. Quick mass. That means there's... Hold on. 40 million cats in the US? I thought it would have been more, actually. Brazilian Fila? I don't know the breed. Look it up. Oh, that's... Hell yeah, dude. Oh, that's a very cute breed of dog. Hell yeah, man. That is a dog's dog right there. I've had cats that killed squirrels. They're deadly. Yeah. My aunt's cat has tried to kill the squirrel in this tree out back so many fucking times. It's kind of crazy. She's just too fucking fat because my aunt overfeeds her, so she can never do it. It's funny though. United States alone, outdoor cats kill 2.4 billion birds every year. Wow. I did not know it was that high. That is crazy. It's just an estimate, but I guess a lot of kills come from ferals. Yeah, definitely. Because they hunt for food, right? And, you know, for pleasure, I guess. You heard of shifting baseline syndrome? I haven't. Secrets. What's that? I have a middle Spitz dog. Let me look it up. That's very similar to the breed my aunt has. German Spitz middle. Small dog. Is it small? Yeah, small. I grew up with a husky, Augie. Very good dog. Grew up then with a lab that we inherited from my grandpa when he died. Tilla, a lab. And then my own dog that I got while he was young. He was a rescue. He'd been abused when he was very young. It was very sad. Took a while for him to get used to me. It was Border Collie. Very intelligent dog. Fucking love that. Love that dog. So smart, dude. I like smart dogs. They're fun. I don't know. There's something nice having a relationship with a dog because they're very loyal and very loving, but especially the smart ones. You ever look into a dog's eyes and see too much understanding? I think I've talked about this a few times on stream. But you ever looked into a dog's eyes and like seen that it knows too much for what it is? You know, that sounds condescending. I don't believe in like the concept of like, oh, animals are inferior to humans in all ways. Fuck that shit, man. But you know what I mean, right? Like animals tend to be, I think, less understanding of the world around them, or less contemplative, I guess. But dogs are different. Very intelligent dogs, you can, dude, they understand more than you think. They know more than they can communicate. They understand a lot, dude. And it's very, I don't know, really cool. And outdoor cats when I was younger, they always brought stuff back. Yeah, because they love you. Or that's a strong word. It's a cat. They like you sometimes, and they want to feed you. When cats bring you like dead animals, they're trying to feed you because they think you need it typically, and they're doing it because they like you. They bring you stuff they actually like you, which is great. Dude, when I was a kid, I lived in Scotland. Friends of the family went on a holiday out of country for a long time. They were there for like 6 months on sabbatical, and we looked after their 4 cats. Who were technically indoor outdoor cats, but these were fucking hunters, man. All 4 of them were hunters in their prime. Every morning there was a dead animal because I lived in a small village in Scotland. We were right next to a really big forest full of wildlife, and you know, plenty of stuff to hunt there. Every morning there'd be just like a fucking Dexter murder scene on the floor, right? These were fucking violent cats, right? There wasn't just a body like some cats. You know, some cats, they'll leave you just a nice little presented body of an animal, you know? Not these cats. There's blood everywhere, man. Like, it looked like a murder scene. So almost every morning, there'd be a fucking dead animal on the floor. I remember when I was growing up. I was very young at the time. In the early days, I just hear a scream every morning from my mother. I think once or twice from my dad, too. And eventually, we got used to it. But Jesus Christ, those were fucking hunters, man. And they liked us, so they brought us, you know, hunted game. I don't know if they just thought that we couldn't like chew it or dissect it, but they did it for us. So, you know, funny. It's like basically there are billions less bugs and birds around than were when our parents and grandparents were growing up. True, the loss of bugs is kind of crazy. I mean, species die-off is much worse than I think we actively acknowledge and try to think about. Not really aware of it. I think, I don't know. Maybe, I guess. It's pretty clear, I'd say. There's a lot less. I'm debating between a trained golden retriever trained as an emotional support animal or a multi-doodle, Maltese poodle. The consideration is I'm allergic to dog hair, but not poodle hair or Maltese hair. Really? These 2 breeds are not allowed to become emotional support animals. Do I go on meds and get the dog I need or just settle? Oh, Reaper. I am not trained in any of that, so I can't give you proper advice. I mean, could you get one and like try and get someone who does that sort of training to do it for you, like not officially or something? I don't know if that's even possible, but I mean, I know obviously that like they're trained to do emotional support, right? But if you can't get them to train it and you still want an emotional support animal that's still not trained to do it, you can still just get one and having a good relationship with that dog. I mean, they won't have the explicit training to help you at those moments, right? But they will still be, you know, a good companion for you. That's a tough call though. And I can't answer. The baseline for the amount of flora and fauna on what looks normal is shifting. The world's changed a lot in recent years. I mean, humans, we've just taken over so much of the planet. Every time I come out of my house, I see like at least 5 mice and maybe a mole. Jesus Christ. Well, you said you had over 10, right? A dozen or 15, I think you said. So I'm not surprised. They're just having like, you know, Viking, you know, lodge-style feasts on your back porch of all the game that they're killing. Dogs and cats can also smell your pheromones so that they know what you're feeling. Yes, true. And they're very good at watching your facial expressions. They're very good at that. Dogs especially. Armenian lore? Lore on what biotical? You mean on our current game or on what? Or do you mean just actually keep playing the game? I'm guessing you're a millennial? I'm technically Gen Z. I was, not to dox myself. I was born on the first day of Gen Z, what's typically seen as Gen Z. So I'm like, I was one of the first Gen Zers ever born, technically. There was a mass die-off event when we were about 10 years old. The fireflies out here on the West Coast went extinct around then. Really? I didn't know that. Wow. They're not capable of training and it costs 1,000 USD. Ah, okay. But the US government will pay for my dog to be trained if it's golden as they can be trained. I see. Okay. I'd say it really depends on how allergic you are to dog hair. That's the real call there. I mean, some allergies are tolerable, some are not. I'm Gen Z. Yeah, technically. The fact that you lived in a small village in Scotland. Oh, my dad's a professor. And we moved a lot when I was younger. I lived a lot. I was actually born in Idaho originally. I grew up when I was very young there. I'm from there originally. I'm adopted from a family in Idaho. Whole thing. Won't go into that. But we moved to Scotland when I was pretty young. I think we moved there when I was 4 on sabbatical, where he did like a teaching thing there just for a year. Like professors will go and teach different places on sabbatical just for a short period. Liked it so much. I loved it too, that we ended up moving there. I lived there for almost 5 years when I was very young. Scottish countryside. He taught at university there and grew up there. I was homeschooled, so I had a lot of time just kind of, you know, chill, go chase down badgers in the woods and shit. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I moved out. Then we moved to California when I was a bit older. I grew up there for a while and moved around a bunch more. Like on my cat, I was very allergic to cats, but I have gotten used to it. Like there's some allergies for animals you can adjust to. I'm allergic to chocolate, funnily enough. I don't know if it's the preservatives in it or if it's the cacao itself, but I'm allergic to chocolate, chocolate, especially dark stuff. But you know, sometimes I'll power through, especially if it's milk chocolate. I'll power through for some milk chocolate now and then, very rarely. Depends. You lived in Idaho? I'm sorry to hear that. Why on earth were you living in Idaho? It's a beautiful state. It is a beautiful state. So beautiful people in terms of personality and morals, you know. Dads always have the deepest love for pets, even if they don't always show it. I had a cat in my family that bought a kitten, and she got quite old. My dad would complain about her waking up early in the morning, but when the cat had to be put down, he was really sad. What is it with like fathers like not showing love to pets? It's a very strange phenomenon. Your mother was a cat person of the family, so that says quite a lot. If you're a remotely, I think, moral human being who doesn't have like a phobia of certain animals due to trauma or something like that, it's very hard not to love an animal, you know, especially good ones like dogs or cats. Yeah, IMC, you're Idaho too. Oh boy. I just like both milk and chocolate, dark chocolate all the way. Oh, no. Oh, dude, I hate dark chocolate. Not just because I like sneeze every time I take a bite, but also it's just too harsh, man. I like certain harsh things. I like very harsh spices. I like harsh coffee. I don't like harsh chocolate. Still need to try rose chocolate someday. What is rose chocolate? Milk chocolate is the white one. Yeah, true. Milk chocolate's the good stuff. No, milk chocolate is it's like the lighter brown chocolate. Dark chocolate's the really dark stuff, almost like blackish. Milk chocolate's the lighter, like very light brown one. And then white chocolate is the one you're talking about, I think. The white stuff. That's white chocolate. You're born here in California, and as a child, I had no choice to move to Idaho. That's fair. That's fair. It is a beautiful state, though. I mean, like, I love going, like, hiking and going out in the nature. Like, Idaho has amazing mountains, amazing forests, amazing fishing. It's a great state. Like, geographically, it's beautiful. Problem is, you have to deal with the people near there. That's the buzzkill. No. Dark chocolate. You guys can enjoy dark chocolate. It's too strong. I don't want a pet, and when you get one, they get along with the pet the most. True. That's how it is. And then the pet likes them the most too, which is bullshit. True. The naturally pink chocolate invented in 2015. Really? What's different about it? I hate cats because they hurt me a lot as a kid. Exactly, yeah. I had severe, like the worst documented case of ADHD, has been diagnosed in the male to the date of my birth. So cats hated and feared me and just wanted them to like me, but they kept clawing at me with fear. Yeah, exactly. Like when you have like traumatic experiences with animals, not liking them and not getting along with them is completely understandable. You know, that's very outside the realm of everything else, right? Which is fair. I mean, many people get phobia of animals due to animal attacks and things like that. Like my sister's like deathly afraid of you know, chihuahuas because one attacked her, shit like that. That's, you know, out of your hands. 1000% know what you're talking about though. The part of Idaho did you live in? Up north near, oh man, it's been so long. Near a college there. Moscow. Small town of Moscow. University town. Dad taught there. Up north. It's really beautiful up there though. I mean, Moscow itself, it's in a nice area, but it's really close to the mountains, which are just, again, spectacular. Like the northeast mountains of Idaho are amazing. I mean, it's right by, to be fair, it's right by like Glacier National Park and you know, Montana, which is beautiful in that mountain range there. It's very, very pleasant. Naturally sweet with no sugar to be needed. Interesting. Napoleon Dynamite was a very good showing of Idaho. Just not enough Nazis and skinheads. All right, back to the game. We need to play a bit more here. We are also almost going to be going to the grand campaign. We will be doing that in 15 minutes. Queen Kara suggested a hunt. I did not hesitate to organize one. I would do anything for a mere glimpse of my treasure. I'm stalking through the underbrush, my page at my heels, my hound just ahead. Seems as if he has found a trail. Then suddenly, my concentration is shattered by a woman's scream. I'm coming for you, my love! Hold on. Were we just running after our wife? Why are we just teleport? Has our cannibalism given us teleportation? I never expected I would be close to Prince Ishkan. He was our childhood mentor. Why would we not expect to be close to him? On multiple occasions, he's proven himself to be a reliable and forthright man, with only my best interests at heart. Yeah, we're friends with our old mentor. Wonderful. Did he have kids? He did. Wonderful. He had a daughter and a son. Yeah. Good for him. Within what must have been a minute, but felt like an hour, I reached a clearing. Kara's on the ground before me, disheveled and weaponless. Opposite her, and just about to strike, stands a huge stag. My arrow strikes true, and the beast falls to the ground. For a moment, all Kara can do is stare, but then she stumbles towards me and throws herself into my arms. Wonderful. We're now soulmates with our wife. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. I was in the Boise area, yeah, down south, but I've been all over the southern part of the state. It's nice down there, too, just very different geographically. I was back in 2015. Idaho has gotten worse since I left. 2005. It's gotten much worse with the political changes that have been occurring in the U.S. over the last 2 decades. I'm irrationally afraid of bees and wasps, because at 5 I ran in barefoot and stepped on an underground hornet's nest. Oh my god. That was bigger than me. I crushed the queen so the swarm. Oh god, that's like a horror movie. Being the smart kid I was, I ran 2 blocks to my house, not my grandma's house, who I was at, or the lake I was at, and then the hornets followed me and attacked my grandma and me for hours. Oh fuck, dude. That is an incredibly traumatic experience. Jesus. Hornets, too. They are the worst. How's Wyoming, you know, the place with 4 people living? Wyoming's a beautiful state, Chuck O'Neill. Listen, if you want to talk about desolate, ugly states, talk about the Dakotas. If you want to talk about empty states that are incredibly beautiful, Wyoming is one of them. Northern Wyoming has Yellowstone Park, which is just an incredibly beautiful place. Hold up. No. Europeans are disparaging the most beautiful state in the U.S. I can't have this. One moment. We're going to look at pictures of Yellowstone. I can't stand for this. One moment. This is your fault, Trocanera. All right. This is fucking Wyoming. You can talk all the shit you like, but this is Wyoming. It has these spectacular pools and geysers, which is actually a giant volcano that will one day kill everyone, probably, unless we're in space. Yellowstone is a beautiful place, man. Wyoming is just huge plains, rolling hills and mountains, forests, bison herds, which used to be everywhere. And now their populations come back, but you have to go to Yellowstone to see them. And those bison are incredibly beautiful animals, man. Like, they are spectacular creatures. Such a tragedy we killed so many. Anyway, so this is the Wyoming you're talking shit on right now, Trek O'Neill. That TV show's very mediocre. Now let's see what else. Yellowstone Falls, incredibly nice. Oh yeah. Spectacular state. So nice. I've been there, I think 3 or 4 times. I went like almost 1,000 miles out of the way when I actually moved east, just because I wanted to go to Yellowstone again. Wish I got a glacier too. That's the other beautiful national park just to the north of it. I've been here only once and I really want to go back. It is incredible. America has so much natural beauty. A lot of our countries, I think, are more interesting in architecture, history, and things like that. But no country really can hold a candle to the US in terms of beauty, except for probably the Himalayas and maybe like the Outer Hebrides in Scotland, I would say. They're very different types of places geographically, though. Don't fuck with those. They will kill you. But second thought. Orange stuff near geysers is a giant bacteria colony. Very interesting. Yeah. The geysers are fascinating. The biome of Yellowstone itself is so fucking cool. There's a whole, like, I'm sure you can find documentaries. Around, I think, a decade or 2 ago, Yellowstone reintroduced wolves to the national park in Yellowstone. They're really cool looking animals. They got hunted almost to extinction in the area. Not extinction. They were really hunted down due to farmers, you know, because they'll go after sheep and cows and stuff. But they were reintroduced back into the biome of Yellowstone, and they track the changes in, like, you know, just like, you know, of course, the wildlife patterns, the wildlife numbers, and then the ecology, I apologize, of the park, and how dramatically it changed during the wolves being reintroduced. Yellowstone's fascinating. It's such a cool place. Are you looking at Colorado? No, this is Glacier National Park. It's in western Montana on the border of Idaho. Get up where I've been talking about where I like to go in Idaho. Yeah, Glacier is an incredible place. Not a bad place to get married at, honestly. Good taste. Yeah, it's so nice. Oh man, I want to go back so badly. The hiking there is incredible. Oh man, Glacier, my beloved. I remember I've been reminding the filmography of The Power of the Dog. I've never seen that. That movie was underrated and filmed in Montana. I've never seen that, but that was some beautiful shots there. Svalbard's really cool too, Bandit. You told me about that. I never knew about that place until you told me. Would love to go there. What's up, Hamrush? Is there a mod playlist for the current stream I can see? Yes. Sorry, I'm just reminiscing and looking at a beautiful national park. I will link that to you right now. It's a rather large mod list, but it is a very fun one. The slow movie, just be warned. As long as it gets interesting, that's what matters. And then there's another national park. Last one I promised, and we'll actually go back to playing the game for the last 15 minutes or so. Yosemite. I've been here probably a dozen times. I lived very near it. I grew up in Sacramento, mostly. And I've gone here dozens of times. I went a bunch with my family, and then me and my college buddies, we used to go hiking in the Sierras all the time, so we went here a lot. Another just incredible place. America's got so many great national parks and beautiful places. It's so fun to hike in. Oh. You see that view too. When you drive, you can drive into Yosemite a couple different ways because it's like a giant valley. It spreads out like well beyond, but the main part's the valley that you're seeing right now. Like, you come down this road on the mountain cliff, like you wind your way down. It's very narrow, just 2 lanes, very tight. And when you come down, you get a perfect view of this right here. This is taken at, well, I think one of the overlooks when you drive down in. Oh, that was one of my, I think, strongest early memories, early-ish, driving into the first time. I think I was probably 9 or 10. Incredible, man. All right, going back to playing. Getting very sidetracked here. But anyway, talk your shit, Trucko Nero. Beautiful place. Most beautiful places I've seen in Zion and Utah. I've never been there, IMC. I've always wanted to go. That also is an incredible place, which I won't show. Restrain myself. I've always been to the Grand Canyon 3 times. Southwest US is pretty dope. Yeah, a whole different terrain, right? All desert, all very rocky, very deserty, very hot, but very cool as well. Zion, oh man, so cool looking. I know you weren't trucking here. I'm being defensive of Wyoming. That being said, Wyoming itself was not a great place. Kind of similar to Idaho, not as bad. Very, people are not the best. As a straight arrow whizzes past my head in the yard, I feel nothing. No fear, no anger, no panic. It's been par on the course recently. I feel as if I exist behind a curtain keeping me from feelings in a world. I'm so tired. Oh no. I think Fog's depressed. He's melancholic. It's sad. So someone has tried to kill us. Someone tried to assassinate us. That is very worrying. Oh boy. Yeah. What is the meaning of it all? Why do we go through these motions day after day after day? Motivation and energy escapes me as my life sinks into gray dullness. I feel like I should be panicking, but even that is beyond me now. Oh, our boy is depressed here. We need to do something to shake this off. It's a good time for a war. But I do want to make time for the grand campaign today. Okay, I think we will stop here. I'm going to go grab something to eat, get something to drink, take a very short break. We're going to be back with the grand campaign and be continuing on our way. House Tours is in a very, very interesting and good place right now. As usual, I've been thinking about this all week, and I have some interesting ideas for today. So we will be back with the grand campaign in a few moments if you'd like to stick around. That's the mega campaign, which has been ongoing from CK3 EU4, and then we're going to go through Vic 3, Hoi 4, and Stellaris as well, following House Taurus, Sardinia. I will be back in a few moments. Hope everyone enjoyed. If you don't stick around, I will be streaming early tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. EST, the grand campaign, the multiplayer one, which will be starting for session And as I said, we'll be playing a dynasty of House Rista, a Basque family in Iberia. And then after that, I will be subbing for one session as the United Kingdom in the Victoria 3 game starting tomorrow. Only for one session. I'm just subbing for someone. So I'm just going to fuck shit up globally as the UK and then leave and let Zolik clean up their mess. So I'll be back in a few moments.